Taking off your shirt in public? Don't be embarrassed. Just say, I love Lyle back instead with male breast reduction. Many men develop a fullness in their chest as boys that persists and even worsens as they get older. This condition is called gynecomastia, and with simple liposuction, most cases can be effectively treated. Call 856-MAKEOVER today to schedule your private consultation with Dr. Lyle and Back. That's 856-MAKEOVER, or visit iloveLyleback.com. If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. Town Square has new tools that can help your business stand out and grow. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too with Town Square. Be one of the first businesses to sign up and receive $500 in free advertising on this station. Start growing your business today. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com. That's GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
Tax refunds are great for fresh starts, especially in 2021. Refresh your ride with your refund at Mako and make the year one you'll never forget. Head to Mako.com to get a free estimate today. Better get Mako.
A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is 97.3 ESPN, home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
He is hit! He stumbles! He's down!
WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
And welcome inside the Matt Black Kia Studios for a Tuesday edition of the Sports Bash live on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And, of course, you can watch the show live at 97.3ESPN.com through Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We are live. We've got a lot to do, and I can't wait to enjoy this 4-hour journey with you. We've got a busy show today that starts with essentially what we talked about yesterday, but in reverse, right, for the 76ers. What we talked about yesterday, but in reverse. I'll explain. Last night's Sixers game, a very impressive performance, but it is the exact reason why you don't get too high over dominating wins or overreact to bad losses. There's no reason to be overreactionary to losing to a game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. We don't need to blame the coach. We don't need to blame this, that, or the other thing. We also don't need to give overzealous praise to why the Sixers won that game last night in such dominating fashion. It is the ups and downs of a long NBA season, which is actually shorter this year, but still long. 72 games is a long ride. It is a long ride to the end of the finish line. But here's the thing. If you watched that game last night, you saw the ups and downs of who this Sixers team really is. You saw a team that is inconsistent. They're inconsistent off the bench. They have a bench that comes in some nights and really pours it on. They have bench the other night that you look and you say, the bench isn't good enough. We know that. This is who they are. This is who the Sixers are. Mike Scott comes in, 25 points, 3 for 3 from 3. 25 points, 25 minutes, 11 points. Had a nice impact on the game last night. 4 steals, tipping the ball, stepping into passing lanes, draining threes. You know, it was just he started the game last night. He didn't come off the bench, but I would imagine now that Mike Scott and Paul Hudrick wrote a great piece about Mike Scott at 97.3ESPN.com. Go check it out. I implore you to do so. But if Scott can give you 15 minutes like he gave you last night, hitting open threes, tipping, passes in the passing lane, he had a great night last night. If he can give you some semblance of that, that's a nice veteran piece off the bench. I really feel like Doc Rivers has yet to really find his rotations yet. He had a great game last night from Shake Milton. 30 minutes, 26 points, 3 of 5 from three-point range. I mean, Korkmaz, 6 of 13 from three-point range last night. I mean, when you have those guys firing threes up, Milton, Korkmaz, Mike Scott, you're going to win, and you're going to win handily, and they did last night. That's the problem. They don't have that every night. Korkmaz is hot and cold. We know that. Milton is, look, I like Shake Milton. I'm not the guy that's sitting here trying to push Shake Milton off the rotationary list, and I don't even want him out of the rotation. All I'm saying is, if I go into a playoff series and Shake Milton is the guy that I'm depending on off the bench the most, there might be a night that he just doesn't have it. It's not like you're bringing in Ron Anderson off the bench, a veteran player who you know what you're going to get. You know, it's not like Microwave Johnson's coming in here. That's what you hope Shake Milton turns into, but I don't know if he's ready to do that at 24 years old. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. My intuition would be most playoff home games, maybe he does. A couple playoff road games, you might not get the same version of Shake Milton, and that's okay, but if you want to win a championship now or be a contender for it, you might need a better option. I thought last night, Milton was outstanding last night. He was akin to the game he played against the Clippers a couple of was that last year? That game out in L.A. when he just went bonkers. Now, he played better in that game out in L.A. than he did last night, but it felt that same way. He had that same look and aggressiveness where he was just going to take the ball to the basket whenever he felt like it. You know, Ben Simmons last night was about as efficient as you can get. Ben Simmons last night was the epitome of, what you hope from him. 7 of 11, 18 points. He was a plus 25. He dominated the game defensively. Joel Embiid didn't have like a monster night, 24 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. I thought Embiid recognizing the double team was outstanding last night. That was one of the things that really stood out to me in that game. He mentioned after the game, too, I loved it when he was asked about Miles Turner, and he's like, well, in my time in this league, I have dominated that matchup. He wasn't lying, and he dominated last night. And they got the old school. They got the very old school load management last night, where they only had to play the starters last night. Joel Embiid, 27 minutes. Ben Simmons, 28 minutes. That's what you're asking for. To win the game in that fashion without Tobias Harris, it's a breath of fresh air, because when you saw that Harris wasn't going to play, and there was reports before the game that Joel Embiid was very questionable to play the game last night. So you figured, all right, very questionable. They'll probably hold him out, and he wouldn't play. You're thinking, wow, you're in a spot where you're not going to have Tobias Harris or Joel Embiid in the game. Well, Embiid ends up playing last night, and not only does he end up playing, he ends up pretty much dominating the game. Ben Simmons helps dominate the game with them, and the Sixers were just way too much for Indiana last night. Now, a lot of that is behind the fact that, again, look at the key number, 3-point shooting. Indiana, 8 for 29, terrible. Philadelphia, 15 of 35. You shoot 43% from three-point range, I got news for you. You're going to win a lot of games in the NBA. Right? You shoot 43% from three-point range, you're going to win a lot of games. It's just the way it's going to happen. I don't think they can do that. And again, it goes back to this. Can't get too high with impressive dominating wins. Don't get too low when you lose a game like you did against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like, we are always searching and finding ways. Why do we do this to ourselves? We love night to night to find something to complain about. The Sixers are who they are right now. It is a good basketball team. Are they an NBA championship team? No. Are they in the mix to be an NBA championship team? Yes. Here's what you should be excited about if you're a Sixers fan. You should feel that they have the guy in place in the front office that will identify what they need and go after it. That's all you can ask for. They don't have an ownership group, I don't think anyway, that's going to make Daryl Morey sit on his hands and say, this is the team, go win a championship with this group of guys. And if you don't, you will be criticized by the front office, by the ownership group for not winning. I don't think that's the case. I think the ownership group will allow the Sixers brass, Elton Brand and Daryl Morey, to go out and identify what they need. You should have severe trust that Daryl Morey knows what this team is lacking. I think we all do. If we're watching this team, they are very inconsistent from beyond the arc. Now, last night, Seth Curry, who's their best three-point shooter, historically, didn't even take all that many threes last night. It was Korkmaz who had 13 attempts. He hit 6 of them. Milton shot 5, and he had 3 for 3 from Scott. So you went unconventional. Well, Korkmaz not unconventional, but he's very streaky. But you didn't get the 3 ball from Danny Green. You didn't really get it from Seth Curry. So those are the 2 guys that you really are expecting it from. If I'm going to get it from Milton, and I'm going to get it from Korkmaz, and I'm going to get it from Scott, I'm going to be a tough team to beat. The problem is Daryl Morey, you, me, and everybody know that you don't think you can get that consistently. I don't think anybody out there listening thinks that they can get consistent three-point shooting from that group of guys. So don't get too high with that win last night, and don't get too low when they lose to the Cavaliers. We all know it. They need more. But what you should be excited about is the fact that they are right there. They're going to go into the All-Star break, most likely anyway. They are going to enter the All-Star break as the number 1 seed in the East, likely. Now, they have 1 game left. They play Utah on Wednesday night, and the Brooklyn Nets, this will be interesting. James Harden returns to Houston, and they play Wednesday night against the Rockets. So while you're playing the Jazz, they're playing the Rockets. If the Sixers win, they will clinch the number 1 seed at the halfway point of the season. If they lose, they might be a half game back. Either way you slice it, the Sixers at the All-Star break will be either the number 1 seed or the number 2 seed in the East. You can't really complain with that. This is a team that was the 6th seed last year and got swept in the first round and fired their coach. Deservingly so, by the way. Deservingly so, they fired their coach. So you had what appeared to be a very moment of a crossroad for this organization. It felt like the Sixers were in this moment of, you went through this process, this very controversial process that they went through, right? And then you've reached certain heights during that process. In the post-process years, once the talent was out on the floor, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Dario Saric, the group of guys that you obtained through this process, once they were out on the floor together, you obtained some heights. You made it to the second round of the playoffs. But the problem was, once Sam Hinkie stepped aside, the process plan kind of got pushed out of whack. You brought in Jerry Colangelo, and he had a vision for the team, and that vision wasn't very good. You then had Colangelo go through his problems, have to get pushed aside, and then another vision came in, and that being Elton Brand's vision. They went for it. They went and got Jimmy Butler. They went and got Tobias Harris. And when that team got knocked out of the playoffs, it felt like this process and where this team was, this organization was at a crossroads. Now what? We went through this process. We utilized all these assets. We have now capped ourselves out. How do we improve this team? A lot of bad decisions by multiple different GMs who all had different visions of what to do with Sam Hinkie's assets. Hinkie said, look, you know the saying, I can walk the horse to water, but I can't make them drink. Hinkie said, I'm going to walk you to water, but once I get you to the water, you do what you want with these assets. And they were mismanaged. The assets that the Sixers had were mismanaged, which left them at a crossroads. Now what? You went from being the 3 seed to the second round with all these young, exciting players, and you had more in the coffers. You had more picks. You had more money than everybody else. You had the opportunity to be a team that was going to be elite. Now I think the problem became last year you got swept out. You're the 6. You went from the 3 seed with the arrow pointing up to a 6 seed with the arrow pointing down, and here you are as the number 1 seed all of a sudden. Highly unpredictable, to be honest with you. I don't know how many people out there felt this is a number 1 seed roster. Now, are they the number 1 seed roster if Brooklyn has a full offseason of James Harden? Are they a full number 1 seed if there's not injuries going on and the COVID going on and all this stuff? I mean, the Bucks, they went out and got Drew Holiday. He's been in and out of the lineup. They haven't really played nearly as well together. There's a lot of variables here. That being said, here they are. When this organization felt like it was at a crossroads, they have now changed our expectations. The expectations now is this. We know that you're not good enough. Last night shows it. And you might say, last night shows you're not good enough. Yeah, because the highs are, you can't go off of the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. You can lose to Cleveland, and that's going to happen. You're going to beat someone by 30 points. Don't get too high with the highest of wins, and don't get too low with the lowest of losses. We all know what this team is. It's a good team that needs help. They're going to be in the mix, but this team could go anywhere from, I don't want to say a first-round exit, but it's a possibility. Now, it would be a major disappointment, but it's not like they're going to match up in the first round with some schleprock. We talked about it yesterday. The way the Eastern Conference playoffs are set up this year, you are most likely going to face someone in the first round who has playoff experience and has some sort of veteran group together. I mean, right now, if you were the 2 seed, you're playing Toronto. If you're the 3 seed, you're playing Boston. And if you're the 4 seed, you're playing Miami. Miami went to the finals last year. Boston went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and Toronto won the championship the year before. Not exactly a pushover group of teams if you're the 2, 3, or 4 seed. If you're the 1 seed, though, things feel a little bit different. You're playing Charlotte, if that's how the season ended today. Now, Indiana's still in the mix there. The Pacers are a team that would be a pretty tough playoff out. These would be first-round matchups. So I think there's a lot of interesting storylines as we roll into the All-Star break here. But last night is another indication of don't get too high, don't get too low with the game the other day. You're going to lose a game against Cleveland. It's frustrating, but it's not a reason to go crazy. If anything, I think it shows you. We talked about yesterday. You got to stop getting so, just big picture everything. If you big picture things, it'll be a lot easier for you to watch these games. And in the big picture, we know what they are. They're going to lose to Cleveland. They're going to blow Indiana out by 30. They're not the team that's 30 points better or 15 points better or whatever they beat Indiana by last night. And they're not the team that lost to Cleveland. What they are is a team that's inconsistent and needs help. It was an impressive game last night. You hit 43% from 3. You're going to win a lot of games. We all know that. 609-403-0973. 609-403-0973. That's the text board. 609-403-0973. That's the text board. How you get involved in today's show. If you're watching the show live, you can use the chat feature wherever you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, and your messages will come to me on the screen. We'll get them all in throughout the course of the day. And don't forget, coming up, we have a busy show today. Frank Close, with his first edition of the Phillies mailbag, is coming up at 2:40 today as the Phillies are back in action. The Phillies back in action today, by the way, with an interesting storyline, as Odubel Herrera is back in the lineup. It's the first game he's playing at the big league level since he was suspended by Major League Baseball for 85 games for that domestic violence. The interesting part is he is playing a different position today. He is not playing center field. He's actually batting 5th and playing right field today. So we will have updates on the Phillies throughout the day and our Phillies mailbag with our Phillies insider, Frank Close, who is back for another season of Phillies baseball. He will join us on Tuesdays at 2:40 as we look at the Phils getting ready for the 2021 season. So stay tuned for that. Jeff Nadeau, our betting insider, will join us with the best bets for tonight. And this week, as we always do at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday, Kevin McCormick goes inside the Sixers with us today as the Sixers coming off that win last night. You know, speaking of the Sixers, all right? Speaking of the Sixers, it is the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Speaking of the Sixers, here's something for you. Could Victor Oladipo be a trade target for the Sixers? I'll explain why he might be a better option than Kyle Lowry. Even though I like Lowry better, why Oladipo might be a better target for the Sixers. All right, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. By the way, fans are coming back. The city of Philadelphia matched the state capacity numbers. 3,100 fans will be at the Flyers game this Sunday. Tickets will be available. 3,100 fans will be back allowed at Flyers and Sixers games. 8,000 fans will be allowed at Citizens Bank Park when the Phillies return to start the season. So slowly, fans are being reintegrated to ballparks and arenas. I'm happy to say. And we look forward to that Sunday, this Sunday. So if you're a Flyers fan, this Sunday, I'd start calling around, seeing how you can get tickets. Sports Bash is brought to you by Broadlee's Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning, your local provider who makes it easy to upgrade your home to the most efficient energy equipment on the market. Plus, learn how to get these free furnace during the month of March only. Visit them online at broadlees.net. I'm Mike Gill. This is the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And don't forget, watch the show live on our website, 973ESPN.com, through Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We'll be back. Oladipo. Think about that name and think about why he might be the best match for the Sixers.
Turn it on. Leave it on. The Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
Hey, bro. I don't think I can help you move Saturday. My back is really bugging me. I just don't think I can handle it. Sorry.
Hey, dude, it's John. I know I told you I'd be able to help you move. I think Michelle's really mad at me for something. What's that, honey? Oh, dude, I gotta go. Sorry, man.
Call Clark's Moving and Storage in South Jersey for your next local or long-distance move. Clark's, dependable and always shows up. Call 609-889-0780.
You took an antacid, and now your frequent heartburn's back. Stop heartburn before it begins with Prilosec OTC. Its unique delayed-release formula blocks heartburn at the source for 24 hours, so you can extinguish heartburn before it starts. Make the switch to Prilosec OTC today and live heartburn-free. Prilosec OTC. 1 pill a day, 24 hours, 0 heartburn. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
A message from your neighbors and friends at First Bank. We've been serving residents and businesses of Sea Isle City and the surrounding communities for more than 130 years. Today's challenges, while unique, are another opportunity to show our strength and resilience. Our commitment to you remains strong. Whether it's using our drive-through services, bank by phone, the First Bank mobile app, or online banking, we're staying strong with you. Be safe and be secure. First Bank, here for you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
KFC's Colonel Sanders here. We all love sitting down to a home-cooked meal with family, but there's rarely enough hours in the day to do the cooking. So let me do the cooking for you. Well, not me personally, that's just a turn of phrase. Your KFC will do the actual cooking. The point is, let someone else do the home cooking for you. Come to KFC and pick up a $20 fill-up. That's 8 pieces of chicken or 12 tenders and all the fixings to feed your family. Order ahead at KFC.com. Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. $20 fill-up not available with delivery. Tax and substitutions extra. Delivery service and additional fees may apply.
Hey guys, are you afraid of taking off your shirt in public? Don't be embarrassed. Just say, I love Lyle back instead with male breast reduction. Many men develop a fullness in their chest as boys that persists and even worsens as they get older. This condition is called gynecomastia, and with simple liposuction, most cases can be effectively treated. Call 856-MAKEOVER today to schedule your private consultation with Dr. Lyle and Back. That's 856-MAKEOVER, or visit iloveLyleback.com.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Well, as the world's blandest man, the idea of insurance made for me is almost Riveting.
Big fan of beige?
I find other neutrals too unpredictable.
That's cool. Liberty Mutual's just here to protect your home with customized insurance.
And here we've got my doorstop collection.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Recently, Total Wireless helped Charlie Michelle stage a virtual dance recital for her friends and family.
This event was super meaningful to them.
Because when you move to Total Wireless, you can get amazing devices on nationwide 5G. And with unlimited plans starting at $25 a month, you could save up to $1,200 a year.
Thank you, Total Wireless, for helping me pull this off.
Total Wireless. Do amazing. Compatible 5G device required. 5G network in limited areas. Month equals 30 days. Savings claim made when compared to 4-line postpaid plans of leading carriers 10-20-20. See terms and conditions at totalwireless.com.
We know you're spending a lot of time at home, and maybe that home could use a little TLC. Since going to a home show isn't really a thing right now, 97.3 ESPN FM is bringing the home show to you. Local exhibitors have been setting up in a virtual show featuring the latest products and services for your home. Go to 973ESPN.com to find great articles on home improvement tips and trends. Thanks to our friends at Broadley's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Broadleys.net, your trusted source for 3 generations.
It's crunchy!
Creamy!
Sweet.
Salty. Nature Valley sweet and salty peanut bars, bursting with crunchy peanuts, dipped in creamy nut butter coating.
Delicious.
Nature Valley.
You can watch the Sports Bash live now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Search 97.3 ESPN or visit our website, 973ESPN.com.
All right, 225 Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And don't forget, watch the show on our website, 973ESPN.com. You can watch the show every day through Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So Victor Oladipo is probably going to be available. He was offered a contract by the Rockets and turned it down, a 2-year extension. He decided not to do that. And a lot of the Sixers trade speculation has been kind of centering around what we've heard about Kyle Lowry. More on that coming up. What about Victor Oladipo? Here's the difference. Oladipo is $21 million. Way easier to get Oladipo than have to match Lowry $30 million cap hit. And here's the difference. The Rockets may not believe that Oladipo wants to go back there. Now, here's the problem with Oladipo. Not as good as a player right now, in my opinion, as Kyle Lowry in terms of helping a team win a championship. I don't know that he is better inclined or more inclined to help you win a championship. He's starting to turn the corner a little bit. Remember, he's been hurt. He's kind of been in and out of the lineup. This is a guy, Victor Oladipo, who was the number 2 overall pick in the draft in 2013. He's had some injury problems. He's bounced around the league. He started off like in Orlando. Then he went to Oklahoma City. Then he was in Indiana. And he had that one season in Indiana where it looked like he was going to turn into a, player that we all thought he might be. Averaged 23 points that year in Indiana. Then he ends up getting hurt. He hurts the knee, has problems, only played 18 games. They end up trading him to Houston this year. And now he's back to about 32 minutes a game. He's averaging 19 points a game. The problem is the three-point shot's down a little bit. And I say a little bit. He's shooting less than 30% from 3. He's not a great three-point shooter to begin with. He's only 34%. So he's not a great three-point shooter, but he is a scorer. Oladipo is definitively a scorer. He can put the ball on the floor, get to the rim, attacks the rim. He is not a guy who gets to the foul line all that much, but he definitely can score. I mean, he is 20 points a game right now with Houston, 19 here, 20 he had in Indiana. He played 9 games in Indiana this year. He was 20 there. He's 19. So he's about 19 a game. Where does he fit in? That's the question. He's probably, if you bring him here, he's probably playing next to Ben Simmons. The question is he a good enough floor spacer to make people sag off of Simmons like they do with Curry? Because when Curry's on the floor, the defenders have to kind of go with him. If Oladipo replaces Curry, does that happen? Does that defender take that extra step with Oladipo, or does he now take it with Ben Simmons? See, the difference is with Curry, that defensive player, it's like a defensive end trying to defend the RPO. That defensive player has to make the decision. Do I want to sag closer to Ben Simmons and take the driving lane away from him? And if I do that, I know Ben Simmons is savvy enough that he's going to kick that ball out, and Curry's good enough that he can bury the three-pointer. But if I take the step and go with Curry and take the three-pointer away, Simmons is almost indefensible one-on-one trying to get to the basket. There's your problem. Oladipo, that defender probably goes with Simmons. With Curry, that defender goes with Curry. I would almost prefer it to be the way it is now, with Curry getting the looks, getting the shots. Now, the problem is if Curry's off, he's off, and that's a chance you have to take. But Victor Oladipo is not a guy who's knocking down open three jumpers. That's for sure. But the big difference is Oladipo can score. But I would say Oladipo's a better version of what you had last year with Josh Richardson. He's just a more pure scoring version of Josh Richardson. Probably he's not nearly as good defensive player as Richardson is. Richardson was a better defensive player for sure. Oladipo has a decent handle. But the difference is, and this is why I say it might be a better fit for the Sixers, is that I don't have to give up nearly as much to get Oladipo. I don't have to give up 4 players to deplete my bench to get Kyle Lowry here. If I say, you know what, I'll pivot, take the lesser player. Now, Oladipo is a lesser player than Lowry, but he's not a lesser player than what you have. I mean, he's better than almost every guy you have. And if you said, hey, I'm going to bring Oladipo off the bench, you played him and Shake Milton off the bench together, that could be a pretty nice tandem, playing Milton and Oladipo together coming off the bench. And, of course, Ben Simmons is kind of mixed in there. You could have runs with Oladipo, Shake Milton, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid. Oladipo is a guy that can get a bucket for you. No question about it. So at $21 million, you could do a Danny Green for Oladipo. You might have to throw another guy there. But if Houston just wants to get something back in return, which I'm not saying that they just want Danny Green, you might have to throw in a Maxey. You might have to throw in, I don't know if I throw Thibault into that mix, but Oladipo, you don't have to do this elongated trade that includes all these extra players. You know, Mike Scott. Now, all of a sudden, you say, after what we saw last night, does Mike Scott help this team out? Over on the text board, Mike, I think it's time to give Shake Milton more credit. He's a legit six-man and can carry the bench. I don't think that I'm discrediting Shake Milton. All I'm saying is I like Milton. He's a young player, and that you're asking a young 24-year-old player to be a consistent scorer off your bench. And I just am saying, I don't know that Milton can do that yet. Maybe when he's 27 years old, I'll feel a little bit better that, okay, I know Milton can come in and give me 11. Right now, one night he gets me 11, one night he gets me 14, one night he gets me 4. I don't know what I'm getting from him. I think he's a little inconsistent. In other words, that bench doesn't really have a veteran presence. Now, Mike Scott can maybe be that veteran presence. And again, maybe Victor Oladipo's that guy. Why do you need to mix up the starting lineup? You bring Oladipo in, maybe he can come off the bench. Now, Oladipo, the problem with him could potentially be, does he want to come off the bench? I don't know that he would be too thrilled about coming off the bench. Now, Oladipo's contract situation, he's also a free agent at the end of the year. So if you're giving up something to get him, there's a possibility that Oladipo walks out the door at the end of the year. There's also a possibility that he doesn't mesh in here perfectly. He might not be the right guy. But I think a second unit with Oladipo, if you have Oladipo and Shake Milton coming off your bench, definitely adds a little bit more depth and a guy who can score and then play with the first unit. Those guys could play with the first unit. Oladipo can be that guy that gets that extra run, He certainly is capable of getting to the basket. He can score 19 points a game right now. The one area where he's a little less than I would like is from three, where he has not shot the ball well, particularly this season. He's under 30%. Now, he was 36% in Indiana earlier this year. Now, his best season in Indiana, he shot 37%. So it's not that he's awful from three, but his best is just average. 37 he's an average 3-point shooter. And he'll shoot it, though. He averages 7 threes a game. Could be the kind of guy that's frustrating, that he shoots a lot of threes, doesn't make a lot of threes. He's a willing shooter. There's a lot that would go into this whole situation. 609-403-0973, 609-403-0973. Sports Bash is live on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And don't forget, watch the show live at 97.3 ESPN. I think this is also the beginning of hearing, like we talked about, Daryl Morey knows that this team needs help. He's going to investigate all avenues. Now, one thing with Oladipo, he's with the Rockets, is making a trade with the Rockets a little bit more difficult for Morey because of what happened there. That's another thing to kind of consider. So think about that. But we will talk more about Oladipo's fit and other fits and more inside the Sixers. Kevin McCormick, our Sixers contributor from 97.3 ESPN.com. He will join us at 3:20 today for Inside the Sixers. Also, Jeff Nadeau at 3 o'clock. But when we come back, it's our first edition of the Phillies Mailbag with Frank Close. If you have a Phillies question for Frank, text it in right now, 609-403-0973, 609-403-0973. What is your number one Phillies question for this year's team? It's Frank's first appearance for the 2021 season. The Phillies Mailbag with Frank Close is coming up next here on the Sports Bash live on 97.3 ESPN. And don't forget the free mobile app. And also, the biggest questions at Phillies camp, and Odubel Herrera returns to the lineup today, playing a new position. What chances does he really have to make the team? We'll ask Frank Close coming up next. This is the Sports Bash live on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. Watch the show live on our website, 97.3ESPN.com.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tonight on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app with Tim Saunders and Steve Coates calling all the play-by-play action. The Flyers are in Pittsburgh to face the Penguins. Tonight, coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey on the radio home of the Flyers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN, and listen live on the free mobile app.
Today just got a little more exciting because you have the chance to win $123 million with Powerball. Talk about a way to really shake things up. So keep it interesting and take your shot because anything can happen in Jersey.
Lately, we're doing a lot more at home, which means we're doing a lot less driving. With pay-per-mile car insurance from Allstate, you only pay for the miles you drive. Drive less, save 50% with Allstate. You've never been in better hands. Visit Allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Includes a daily rate. Prices vary based on how you buy. Not applicable in California. Based on annual premium paid by Allstate Standard Auto customers versus Allstate pay-per-mile customers who drive an average of 4,000 miles a year. Savings vary subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates. Copyright 2020 Allstate Insurance Company.
The Capital One Quicksilver Card Show.
Cut! The Capital One Quicksilver Card is simple. No need for a whole song and dance. Don't be sad. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere. That's the spirit. The Capital One Quicksilver Card is simple, unlimited 1.5% cash back. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Capital One Bank, USA, N.A.
Hi, I'm Brian Peterson at Made Anew Home Remodeling. The events of the past few months have been something most of us have never known. Let's reflect on some of the good things. Time spent with family, extra meals around the dinner table, playing games in the house, and quality time in our homes. If you need help transforming your space to create more beautiful memories, then reach out to me. Visit madeanewhomeremodeling.com.
To learn more about this and other featured businesses on the New Jersey Business Exchange, visit 973ESPN.com.
What you doing? Designing my new 2021 Nissan Kicks online in the Kicks Color Studio. I give each a special name. This one's electric blue, orange, red, white. I call it the gumball machine. You think it's me? I feel like you're more of a red velvet guy.
Limitless possibilities. With over 100 million available color combinations and Bose Personal Plus system in the boldly new 2021 Nissan Kicks. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation. Color combinations include interior and exterior colors. Customization is an available feature subject to availability at participating Nissan dealers. See dealer for details.
You have the choice, whether it's going out for dinner or ordering takeout at a local restaurant or buying that new outfit from a local boutique. Those choices help to put money back into your community. And Town Square Media South Jersey puts a spotlight on local businesses.
Ambient Comfort Heating and Cooling Professionals. AmbientComfortNJ.com.
Filling Marble and Tile Outlet, Philadelphia Avenue and Route 30 in Egg Harbor City. FillingMarble.com.
Dennisville Fence, serving you since 1952. Be the envy of your neighborhood.
East Coast Roofing, Siding, and Windows services all of South Jersey. If you call, they'll show up. Call East Coast today at 609-646-1444. Online at eastcoastroofing.com.
Comfort Now by Bob McAllister. Improve the comfort in your home. Call 609-400-1005 and ask about discounts and rebate incentives. Visit iwantcomfortnow.com.
Thank you for supporting your local businesses. From Town Square Media, South Jersey.
Was 2020 full of dings, dents, and scratches? Using your tax refund at Maaco can help. Refresh your ride with your refund at Maaco to undo a little bit of last year. Head to Maaco.com to get a free online estimate today. Better get Maaco.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
Hey, it's the Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. It's March, and that means it's time for college basketball fun. And my friends over at the DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is giving all new players the chance to cash $100. All you need to do, be a new customer and bet $1 on any team to hit a three-point shot. Now, how ridiculous is that? Any team just hits a three-point shot. You bet $1, you cash in for $100. It's a slam dunk offer. It's not going to be around forever. So get the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use my code 973 and turn $1 into $100 with the DraftKings Sportsbook. It is America's #1 sports betting app, the DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. I'm Mike Gill. This is the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And, of course, you can watch the show live at 97.3ESPN.com. And if you're watching the show live, you will see our Phillies insider, Frank Close, is back for another season of Phillies baseball, which got underway this weekend. They are in action currently. We'll get you up to date on that because there's something happening in today's game, Frank, that is very interesting. But we have another edition of the Frank Close Phillies mailbag, and he joins us right now on the Boardwalk Honda hotline. Welcome back, Frank.
Good to see you, Mike.
It is good to see you. It's good to have Phillies baseball back, and we just got breaking news, as you wrote about at 973ESPN.com, that opening day against the Braves, when Aaron Nola, most likely, toes the rubber, there will be fans in attendance for that game.
Yeah, so the state of Pennsylvania, they announced that there will be 20% capacity for outdoor events. And with Citizens Bank Park's capacity being what it is, that's going to be about 8,800 fans in attendance for the first 19 games. Now, the Phillies are committing to just the first 19 games at this point. The tickets will be available to season ticket holders first, and then the remainder will go on sale on March 12th. So some fans in stands, and the Phillies say that after those first 19 home games, they will reassess and either increase or hopefully not decrease, depending on how things are in the world with the virus.
Yeah, that should be great news. And 8,800 fans is what they're saying. I mean, that's a decent amount. They're going to sit them in pods of 2, 3, some in 4, very few in 5, 6, I guess, if you come together with a group. But 8,800 down in the lower bowl, I don't know if they're going to do just lower bowls. I would imagine you're just trying to, I don't know. But
space them out.
What's that?
They could space them out.
Yeah, they're going to open the second deck for 8,800 people.
I guess it depends on how far they want to separate them from each other. Down in spring training, they're pretty well separate. So I wouldn't be shocked if they use the upstairs, Mike.
All right, well, we'll see how that is. That's a month away, but 8,800 fans just announced, and also Flyers and Sixers will also get about 3,000 fans starting this Sunday. That fans will be allowed back in, so you can get more details at our website, 973ESPN.com. Frank's Phillies mailbag is back for another season, and I want to start with this though. Odubel Herrera is in the lineup today. He is batting fifth and playing right field. I looked back at his history. He has played 9 games in right field. So this is somewhat something new for him. What is the message to you about him getting time in right field today? I mean, is that them trying to see if he can be versatile and play in other spots? How do you read that?
Well, actually, this ended up being one of the mailbag questions. So I'll kind of dig into as to what I see this is. So let's think for a second. So this is a game which fans cannot watch on TV. They cannot listen to it on the radio, and it's not a home game. So that seems like that's when they want Odubel Herrera to play when he plays. What I think is happening here is that the real center field battle is Adam Hastley, Scott Kingery, and Roman Quinn. I can't imagine any world in which Odubel Herrera has any shot at besting those guys. So why is he playing? Well, I think this goes back to what happened when the Phillies followed the collective bargaining agreement and did not double punish Odubel Herrera. He had his suspension. That's supposed to make it over with in terms of punishment. The Phillies can't release him. Makes it seem like that's extra punishment. But let's be honest, there really is not a place for Odubel Herrera on this roster. And he really wasn't playing that great even beforehand. In fact, you mentioned those games he's played in the corners. A lot of that came in 2018 when the Phillies started to say, is he that much of a center fielder anyway? He wasn't
a very good defensive player to begin with, right?
He was not.
You don't think they're saying, hey, if he could play right field and he could play left field, in other words, you're right. He's not in the center field battle. But if he could play center and he could play right and he could play left, that gives them more reason to consider him over, well, he only plays center field. He only does one. Because I can understand if he only does one thing, well, then we can't keep him. But if he shows he can play right and he shows he can play left and he plays center, well, now he plays all 3 outfield positions and he's more keepable.
I really don't think any of this matters, to be honest with you. Bryce Harper's clearly in right field and Andrew McCutchen's in left field. And when he doesn't play, you're going to see some Brad Miller. You're going to see some Adam Hastley because they're lefties. I think the Phillies are going to try to play him enough so that they can say they tried.
I agree, and look, I hope he doesn't make the team. I think they should have got rid of him. I understand the financial situation. But then why even give him a shot? Why even stick him in right field? They don't have to put him out there, right?
I think they do. Here's what I think's going on. I think the Phillies can't double release him, right? That was the thing we've been talking about for a while. So they're going to play him just enough to say, we tried. Guess there's no place for you. Then they can justify releasing him for baseball reasons. I think this is all a ruse. I don't think he does have a hit today. I think at the very end, I don't even know if he makes it to the end of spring training. At some point, they're going to let him go, and they're going to make an announcement. He really doesn't have a path to the big leagues here. If we release him now, maybe he has a chance to catch on with somebody else. So I think there's zero chance he is on the Phillies this year. I think what they're paying him doesn't matter. That's spent money that they can't get back no matter what. And I don't know. You'll watch him play in Pittsburgh next year or something.
All right. Well, that was a question that was in the mailbag, but I definitely think it was worth kind of bringing up as well and kind of getting a little deeper in because, as Ben wanted to know, does Odubel Herrera really have a shot at making the roster? You say no shot. So I guess the question would be then, center field, how do they break that time up? Because really, Frank, the way I see it, center field and the bullpen and the 4 and 5 spots of the rotation, they're your battles right now.
Yeah, so center field, I don't think they're going to necessarily get somebody that just sort of claims the job and runs away with it. I mean, I think Adam Hastley looks good. The early storyline is He's in a lot better shape. He's put on some muscle. He had a home gym built and all this stuff. So, of course, the first pitch he sees this spring, he hits out for a home run. So I guess that's a good start for Adam Hazley. But I think that's a position they just don't have to worry about. I mean, it's a battle, so to speak. But the guys that don't win are also going to be on the roster. So, and they're all usable pieces. Scott Kingery's versatility has helped them in the past. The fact that he can jump in at any position is going to help them. When Andrew McCutchen needs a day off, that's another opportunity for another outfielder. If Roman Quinn's on the bench, he can give you a lot of speed. So I think that all three of them are part of the plans, and who plays more might just be a matter of throughout the course of the season who has the hotter hand. Adam Hazley's going to have to show he hits lefties. Roman Quinn's going to have to show he's not going to get hurt. And Scott Kingery can play anywhere, and Mickey Moniak hopefully shows them enough that if they need to dig down and grab an outfielder out of the minors, that he can do it too. So I'm not worried so much about center field in terms of them covering the position capably. The other positions are pretty set. I just think it's a matter of who's going to play when, and that will evolve, I think, throughout the course of the season.
All right, Zach wants to know your prediction for the bullpen, because by my count, there's about 40 guys trying to get – and you have starters who aren't going to make that rotation that could go down. So you have Velasquez, Chase Anderson, Spencer Howard. Like if they don't win a spot, Ivan Nova, are they in the mix for the bullpen? Not to mention the guys that are already in the bullpen mix. How do you break this bullpen down?
So Archie Bradley, of course, is their one major league signee, so he'll be at the back end. The Phillies have him listed as closer at the moment, although they haven't really proclaimed him closer. He's on the depth chart as a closer. Hector Neris is still there, be a back end option. Brandon Kinsler, one of the minor league signings, I think he really is going to be an important part of this bullpen. Brandon Kinsler is somebody who turned down a major league deal with the Marlins so that he could play for the Phillies. He's taking the risk that he doesn't make the team, right? Even though it's not a guaranteed deal, I think that the Phillies and Kinsler both believe that he's going to be part of the picture, and maybe they even said that to him, like, look, we can't promise you, but we promise you you'll be on this roster. I really like Tony Watson from the left side. He's really not had many down years. A nice veteran lefty in the bullpen for the first time in a while. I mean, last year it was the Alvarez / Morgan / Romero show eventually. And speaking of Romero, I think he's in the bullpen. I think Ranger Suarez will be around in the bullpen, although we don't really know what we have with him yet. Unfortunately, after last year, his COVID battle kind of knocked him out of commission. And then I think Vince Velasquez is a lock for the bullpen. I do not see Vince Velasquez starting. And then beyond that, one of Matt Moore, Chase Anderson, or Spencer Howard will have to be in the bullpen too. So I think I would count on Velasquez being there. And then I'm not ready to say yet which of those three starters will be in the bullpen. Spencer Howard, they could kind of hold him back at a little, for the first bit and then let him loose later. We've seen major league teams do that in the past, and then he'll start down the season just to cut his innings back. But I for once, you don't feel like it's a total free for all. A lot of those guys that are in camp, some will go to AAA, and then hopefully they'll have somebody they can grab down the line.
All right, John DeStefano has an interesting question. He wants to know, what's better, a bad season, 70, 92, you're way out of it, or another 500-esque season and you missed the playoffs, but you feel like you're close? Which is better for this organization with where they currently reside?
I think they are better than an 81 team. And, looking at the 60-game season, it's almost not a fair sample size. The fact that the Phillies had all those doubleheaders because of other teams, that really hurt them down the stretch. Certainly as their starting pitching fell apart. But the starting pitching falling apart is not going to be the same problem that it was last year. That you don't have to see Jake Arrieta be in and out, right, to the point where fans were not too fond of Jake Arrieta by the end, right? So he's not a worry. Vince Velasquez giving you his 4 1/3 inning starts that he's known for, probably not going to be a worry. Bullpen, they got to be better than last year, right? I mean, I think that's the one thing I can say with pretty good certainty.
That's the one thing that has to be better. By accident, you couldn't do. You could not do what you did again. What you did last year again, ever again.
Yeah. It just has to be right. So I think the Phillies are kind of smart in that the new baseball operations president David Dombrowski he could have tried to tear it down again, but I think he didn't do that because he thinks there are some pieces there, fixing the bullpen, having that reliable starting pitching. The Phillies can be better than 81-81. The question kind of is how much better, and then how much better will actually make the playoffs.
Okay, real quick, you didn't get to this question. It came in probably late, but we have about a minute. Greg wants to know, is there any pressure on Girardi to make the playoffs? Somebody already wants Girardi on the hot seat.
I think if the Phillies don't make the playoffs, they'll take the perspective that Girardi did what he could, and that's an indictment of the roster. I don't think Girardi is on the hot seat at all. They did their best last year. He did his best last year with what he had and under the circumstances.
Evaluate last year 60 games. How do you even evaluate that?
Right, exactly. That was kind of my point in the previous question. That it's a really small sample size.
Yeah,
I think you'll see more out of Girardi this year. Hopefully, there's not all these double headers and quarantines and teams shutting down on you, and it'll be a lot better for the Phillies this year.
All right, Frank Close is back with the Phillies mailbag. Get his full answers to all these questions at 973ESPN.com. And, of course, you can send a question for Frank for next week's mailbag. Hit him up at Frank Close. That's Frank Close with a K, and he will answer your mailbag questions here on the Sports Bash and on our website, 973ESPN.com. All right, Frank, episode 1 in the books for the 2021 season. It's good to see you, man.
Good to see you, too. And actually see you.
Yes, we'll be seeing more of you every Tuesday with the mailbag and whenever Phillies news happens at 973ESPN.com. All right, that's our Phillies insider, Frank Close. He's the best, man. And he'll be down at spring trading covering the Phillies at some point for a couple of games down the road. We will tap into him as well. But when we come back, best bets of the night. Our betting insider, Jeff Nadeau, has the best bets for tonight coming up next on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
Sign up now for this year's $1 Million Bracket Challenge. Registration is underway now at 973ESPN.com and the free mobile app until the tournament begins. The listener whose bracket has the most correct will win a $500 golden getaway in Atlantic City. Thanks to our friends at GoldenNuggetSports.com. And the top 20 listener brackets will receive a free bet at GoldenNuggetSports.com. So register for the $1 Million Bracket Challenge.
Hell yeah!
Now at 973ESPN.com or the free mobile app. Must be 21 plus to place a bet. Only available in New Jersey. Free bets are for online sportsbook only. Please see website for terms and conditions.
A national championship.
So head to 973ESPN.com or the free mobile app and register for the $1 Million Bracket.
Lately, we're doing a lot more at home, which means we're doing a lot less driving. With pay-per-mile car insurance from Allstate, you only pay for the miles you drive. Drive less, save 50% with Allstate. You've never been in better hands. Visit Allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Includes a daily rate. Prices vary based on how you buy. Not applicable in California. Based on annual premium paid by Allstate Standard Auto customers versus Allstate pay-per-mile customers who drive an average of 4,000 miles a year. Savings vary subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates. Copyright 2020 Allstate Insurance Company.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facility safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's not quite March, but that doesn't mean the college basketball fun has to wait. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is giving all new players the chance to bet $1 on any team to hit a three-pointer in any basketball game this week. And if your team makes it rain, you cash $100. That's right. All it takes is for one three-pointer being hit by your chosen team to turn $1 into $100. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 973 to get your shot to turn $1 into $100 when you bet on any team to hit a three-pointer in any basketball game this week. That's code 973 for new customers only at DraftKings Sportsbook. That's code 973. Must be 21 or older. New Jersey only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. Winnings paid out in 4 $25 free bets. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting the unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the dingy facilities you're leaving your stuff in. Why not use Closet Box instead? Closet Box is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part? Unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No paying for unused storage space. Closet Box's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. Closet Box's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. Closet Box has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code RADIO50. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233-5696.
Here's the good news. Even with high unemployment, there's still a need for hundreds of thousands of cybersecurity professionals in the U.S. right now. And My Computer Career is training people to help meet the demand. No IT experience? No problem. Take the free career evaluation today at mycomputercareer.edu. Start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Grants covering up to 53% of the cost are available to those who qualify. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
It's time for some straight talk. Your tax return could look different this year, but you're still going to hear a lot of noise about how to spend it. So when the big carriers tell you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199. Plus, get the $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense and tune in to Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
The radio home for Philadelphia Flyers hockey.
Jordan Brett deflected, they score!
WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, 97.3 ESPN. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
All right, hour 2 of the Sports Bash. We kick it off every Tuesday with a look at the best bets. And, of course, it's brought to you by PropSwap, where America buys and sells sports bets. Go to PropSwap.com, America's sports betting marketplace. Sell your sports bets, take your profit. Find out how at PropSwap.com. Jeff Nadeau, our betting insider, he knows all. He knows everything. Not about betting. Not just about betting. He knows a lot about a ton. You can just throw – this guy's a wealth of information. I just love how you can throw a random question, which we're going to start making that a new part of this conversation segment. I'm just going to throw Jeff a random question, and he will probably answer it better than most people would if they studied the question. Wouldn't you, Jeff?
Probably. I mean, yeah. I'm pretty well-rounded with knowledge. So, yeah.
You're one of them guys that, like, people will ask you a question, and, you know, you don't have to take a lot of time. Like, I don't have like a top 5 list in my head of stuff, but like some people just, this is my top 5 movie, TV, this, that. You have that stored.
Well, I'm a weird cat, man. I read a lot, watch a lot of things. And yeah, I have a well-rounded knowledge base, I guess. So
I like it. So we will fire some random question at you that I will think of by the time this conversation is all said and done here. All right. I can't wait. I love the conference tournaments. They are coming up next week. Then the NCAAs. We've got the Selection Sunday and then the big dance, which you can hear all right here on 97.3 ESPN. But we've got an interesting little card tonight. By the way, I want to get your thoughts on Baylor, West Virginia, getting a 5 o'clock tip time.
Yeah, you know, there was a tip earlier today. I didn't understand. It was like some random West Coast game at 10 a.m. local time. But yeah, I think it's fun. I mean, you know, you're going to see a lot more of this.
Not good for me.
Well, it's not good for you. That's right. You're a West Virginia fan. It's not good for you. But I guess, you're going to have to see more of this. With the conference tournaments getting going, you're going to see basketball basically from 12 noon all the way to midnight. So, with some of the West Coast conferences and that sort of thing. So, yeah, it's kind of the aura of Mike. Let me ask you, don't complain, Mike, because we didn't get this last year, a lot of this. So don't jinx it, will you?
Please? The number 3 team in the country playing the number 6 team, and they're putting on at 5:00 in the afternoon.
I hear you. It is a weird time. I would make it like 6 is probably better. I'm not sure why it's at 5. That's a weird one.
I think it's a makeup game from a COVID loss game, and they're playing the game. So I get it. I'm not complaining about them getting it in, but if you're going to play it, why play it at 5? Play it at 8.
Again, it's not like these places have something to do later in the night, these arenas or anything. So I'm not really sure why you couldn't do it at 7, but
we agree. All right, give me thoughts on this. This is all right. These are the games that are up your alley. We like to kind of throw some under the radar stuff out at you. Detroit Mercy is playing Northern Kentucky. Opened as a pick. It's up to 1.5 now in Northern Kentucky's favor.
Yeah, Detroit Mercy. And, Mike, these are kind of the games where I think you always have to put your attention, exert your attention into some of these. Well, I'm sure we'll get into some of the bigger boys, but these are where the money is. And this is the Horizon League tournament. This is the second round. Detroit Mercy actually opened as a dog in this game. They were quickly bet up and are now a favorite, as you alluded to. Detroit Mercy is being hit by sharp action. I like Detroit Mercy in this game. I think they're the better basketball team. They have a kid, Mike, Antoine Davis. He arguably could be the best scorer in America. He's the son of the coach, Mike Davis. Kid dropped 45 in the first game in this Horizon League tournament. Mike, if you know anything about Detroit, which I'm sure most of the listeners don't, the only thing they know about Detroit is that former Sixer Willie Green went there many years ago. Detroit is really good at busting up zones. Northern Kentucky run a zone at you. They really want to kind of not allow you to get into the teeth of the defense. But this is a Detroit Mercy team that shoots the lights out of the ball, 40% on the season, top 15 in the country. I look at this matchup and I say this should be a matchup that Detroit Mercy can beat up a little bit. Northern Kentucky's been off for about 12 days, not for COVID, just with the season ending. They had a bye, so I don't know how ready to go they're going to be. I like Detroit Mercy. I like Davis. I think he handles business tonight, and they move to the next round. I like Detroit Mercy here.
All right, that's a conference game, tournament game. Wisconsin and Purdue. Now, most people, if you're just hearing, you're a college basketball fan, and I say Wisconsin, Purdue, you probably think Wisconsin's the better team. But Purdue is actually 23rd. Wisconsin's 25, and both of them I would assume are on the proverbial. Maybe not on the bubble. They're both ranked teams, but 10 and 8. Wisconsin is not a normal Wisconsin team, and that game currently is opened at 3. Kind of interesting. 2.5 DraftKings, BetMGM 1.5, 2 at Sugar House. So it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, these are both tournament teams, one of which is Wisconsin, who's really limping into the NCAA tournament. It's been a tough year for them. The offense has really kind of eluded them. They have guys that they just haven't really been themselves this year. They're an old team. Mike, I saw that their roster is actually older than the current Chicago Bulls roster. So, it just goes to show you how old these kids are. But they've had some tough goes of it. And this is a tough matchup in West Lafayette. That's a tough place to go play. Purdue's only lost 1 game there this year, and that was to Michigan. We know how good they are. This is an exploitation for Purdue. I think they can exploit the bigs for Wisconsin. They've really struggled. I think they have a real issue in guarding Trevion Williams, the best player for Purdue. And, there's just not a lot of outlets right now for consistent offense for Wisconsin. Purdue has really turned up the Jets defensively. And Purdue playing for something here, Mike. If they win their final 2 games, they're actually going to get a double bye in the Big Ten tournament. So I think this is a game that means something to them. I think at home they're going to be ready to go. And they're playing hot right now. They've won 4 of 5. I like the Boilers here at home. I think it's a good matchup for them.
All right, Purdue is the pick from Jeff Nadeau. Let's stay in the Big Ten. Illinois, fun team. Michigan, right now, there's a prop swap ticket. I don't know if you've heard about this, but the guy's got like $20,000 on, people are bidding on this ticket right now because he got them way back in December. Well, now they're the number 2 team in the country, and that ticket looks very valuable. They started out tonight, though, an 8.5-point favorite. It's down to 6.5, Illinois, Michigan.
Yeah, this looks like there's some foreshadowing going on. Illinois has been without their best player, DeSumo, who, I mean, outside of Luka Garza, is probably the best player in the country right now. He's
play tonight with a mask, correct?
I believe so, and it looks like he's going to go, which, you know, that line moves 2 points. It's not because of just a ton of sharp action. It's, you know, bookmakers or bettors thought this number was too high. They got some info that DeSumo was in. There was also a picture floating around from Illinois' basketball account on Twitter that he was taking shots this morning. So, you know, I still think there's going to be a bit of an issue, though. I mean, how does he play with the mask? If you remember last year or 2 years ago, Joel Embiid played with a mask. You know, it took some time to get used to it for him, and I think with DeSumo, he'll be a factor. If you can have him in there, it's huge. But I think if this is at 6.5, I still think Michigan gets the job done. I think, frankly, Mike, with Sumu healthy, if this were 6.5, I would still probably take Michigan. I think they can really exploit certain matchups. I think Dickinson can handle Coburn. Coburn's a guy that if he's not like against Wisconsin, he'll dominate a team like that. But we saw on Sunday, Dickinson can handle Luka Garza. He can handle everyone. And I don't know if they have answers on the wing for certain players like Wagner and Livers. So, yeah, at home, Michigan, they're not a team I would want to step in front of right now. I think, Mike, you can make the case right now they're the best team in the country. Gonzaga hasn't played anyone in weeks. I think when it's all said and done, Gonzaga will be the number 1 overall seed, my pick to win the tournament. But I think Michigan is playing some incredible basketball right now. It's truly incredible.
And Michigan and Illinois, the top 2 teams in the Big Ten. Is the Big Ten for you the best conference in America?
Yeah, I think for sure. I mean, the Big 12 is very good, but like the Big East is down this year a lot. The ACC is a complete mess. You know, the SEC, don't sleep on the SEC. The SEC is very good. It's got a lot of parity this year, a lot of good teams there. But yeah, I think the Big Ten is, you know, definitely on top. I'll tell you another conference. I mean, the Mountain West has been a very good conference. There's been 4 or 5 really good teams in that conference. But yeah, at the top level, it's surely the Big Ten.
All right, you mentioned SEC, so let's go there. The Iron Bowl, Alabama and Auburn. In basketball, a little different than football. It opened at 11. Bama's a favorite. They are 11 across the board. Unless you are using BetMGM, you can get it at 10.5.
Yeah, this was a completely wild game the first time they played, 94-90. It was back and forth. You know, a lot of these teams in the SEC play very similar, Mike. It's downhill, guard-oriented basketball. It's to get up and down as fast as possible, your threes instead of twos, all that sort of thing. And that was evident in the first game. The problem that Auburn has here, that was the first game they had Sharif Cooper, and Sharif Cooper was huge. He had 26 points, 9 assists. He was incredible. He's not going to play tonight. Sharif Cooper was integral to what Auburn's doing. If you know anything, he was actually he was not eligible to play, and then he became eligible, and now he's hurt. So Auburn's a weird team because, like, I thought they were going to get run out of the building by Tennessee, and they ended up beating Tennessee on Saturday. So, yeah, that just kind of shows you how good a coach Bruce Pearl is. I think Alabama gets kind of the best of them here. I would lean more towards like an Alabama team total over or kind of isolate Alabama in the first half maybe. This is a pretty high number, but should be an up and down affair. And I think Alabama will probably get whatever they want offensively. Auburn has been dreadful recently against really good offenses. So I think it's open season for Alabama offensively, but I don't really trust Alabama on that end either. So I would maybe look towards Alabama scoring a lot of points. And those are useful bets late in the season, Mike. Isolating offenses, not worrying about whether they cover or not. Just can they score a certain amount of points, especially if I like that offense against an opposing defense.
All right, Jeff Nadeau's with us at Jeff Nadeau. Follow him there. Get his plays. You can ask him questions, watch his videos, consume his stuff. You can always figure out and find where he is. Tonight's best bets, he likes Purdue, Michigan, Bama, Detroit, Mercy. That Bama game, team total or first half lean. So there you go. All right, a question for you, Jeff Nadeau. It is that time of the year. The water ice establishments are now reopening. So who has the best water ice in the city?
Pops. Watts in Oregon. That's my old block, actually, Mike. I lived on 2600 Watts for a long time. Italiano's is very good on 12th and Shunk. John's on Christian Street's very good. I stick to those. But Pops is my main go-to because literally, Mike, I go out, when I lived on that block, right outside of my door, I'm on my step. It's literally 10 feet away. So
I love a place that's name is just the guy's first name.
Yeah, no, you can't go wrong with places like that. And, places like John's or Pops or Italiana's, like they're all just seasonal places.
Yeah.
There's nothing better, Mike. I've said this before. Like when you start, around the end of March, early April, you're starting to get a little warmer weather. You feel that first warm sun hit your body. You go over, get a water ice, double park, get a water ice. Maybe a pretzel. Maybe you're heading down to the shore or something. Those are the days, man. So yeah,
well, back. That's what I'm saying. The warm, like it's not warm out today, but the sun is out. It's nice and shiny and blue. It's no more rain. I said, give me you're like that first day of Rita's when they reopened.
Yeah,
it's not like a Rita's. You're going.
I'm a water ice guy because growing up, Mike, I've told you before, I spent my every summer at Ocean City and Margate and all these different places. And many years ago, my family, we had a neighbor where he's still friends to this day. They come up and they're dear friends of ours. One of the patriarch of the family, Anthony, he actually runs water ice in Ocean City. It's called Anthony's Water Ice. He does a lot of up and down the Ocean City corridor. So I've always been a big water ice guy. He used to give us buckets of water ice to take home in the summer, the spring, the fall, the winter. So I'm a big water ice guy.
Yeah, me too. Well, I grew up in Ventnor, and on every corner, there's either a liquor store, and whenever there's not a liquor store, there's a water ice place.
I mean, you remember them guys, and they still do it. There's guys that I know in Ocean City on like second and Atlantic, second and Corinthian, right at the boardwalk, there's a place called Brown's. I remember used to going up there and, summer days on the beach, we would go up there and get, you stand in line, get your water ice on the beach. It's that's the best life has to offer, in my opinion.
Well, I know the calendar is March, water ice, and I know, like I said, I can just throw a random question and you'll give me a legit answer. I mean, Pops, he throws Pops at us out there. All right, Jeff's back on Saturday. We'll have a further look at the weekend card. Get those plays in tonight. Do it responsibly, and don't be mad if he gets one wrong. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually coming out of one of the worst runs of my life. So, I did some good things last night. So hopefully that's par for the course, and we keep doing it.
All right, at Jeff Nadeau. Follow him on Twitter. All right, Jeff, we'll talk to you Sunday, man.
All right, Mike. Thanks, buddy.
And he, like August, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. He'll be back on Sunday's show. And don't forget, Prop Swap, our guys over at Prop Swap, they help bring Jeff Nadeau to the show each and every week. Here, PropSwap.com. That Michigan ticket, I tell you, you could go to Prop Swap right now and go find a team like Loyola Chicago, 65-1 or something like that. Go buy that ticket. If they make it to the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8, you can then sell that ticket at Prop Swap. It's a great idea. PropSwap.com, where America buys and sells sports bets. All right, when we come back, inside the Sixers, is Victor Oladipo a good fit for this roster? I'm going to ask our Sixers contributor, Kevin McCormick, who does a great job for 97.3 ESPN.com. In fact, he's got an interesting article about, somebody asked this question in the stream about the G League. There's a G Leaguer right now who might be able to help this team out, and Kevin wrote about him at 97.3 ESPN.com. We'll have that coming up next here on the Sports Bash. Watch the show live on our website, 97.3 ESPN.com.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tonight on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app with Tim Saunders and Steve Coates calling all the play-by-play action. The Flyers are in Pittsburgh to face the Penguins tonight. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey on the radio home of the Flyers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN, and listen live on the free mobile app.
Today just got a little more exciting because you have the chance to win $123 million with Powerball. Talk about a way to really shake things up. So keep it interesting and take your shot because anything can happen in Jersey. Broadlee's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning makes it easy to upgrade to the most energy-efficient equipment. And for a limited time, Broadlee's is giving you a free furnace with the purchase of a high-efficiency AC system. 0% financing and rebates from the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities. And its clean energy program mean even greater savings. Don't miss out on Broadlee's free furnace frenzy. Certain restrictions apply. Call Broadlee's at 609 888-390-3907 or visit broadleys.net, your trusted source for 3 generations.
Ooh, a fondue set. Ugh, now I need to find a coupon code.
Not anymore, Susan. Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them at checkout.
Wait, instantly?
It's called shopping smart, not hard. Download Capital One Shopping to your computer for free and let it do the work for you.
Don't mind if I fondue.
Haha, that's kind of cheesy. Capital One Shopping. It's kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
Savings and available coupons vary.
Recently, Total Wireless helped Charlie Michelle stage a virtual dance recital for her friends and family.
This event was super meaningful to them.
Because when you move to Total Wireless, you can get amazing devices on nationwide 5G. And with unlimited plans starting at $25 a month, you could save up to $1,200 a year.
Thank you, Total Wireless, for helping me pull this off.
Total Wireless. Do amazing. Compatible 5G device required. 5G network in limited areas. Month equals 30 days. Savings claim made when compared to 4-line postpaid plans of leading carriers 10-20-20. See terms and conditions at totalwireless.com.
If you're struggling with a drug or alcohol addiction, now is the time to take action and get professional help. Call Recovery Centers of America at 1-888-RECOVERY today. You are worthy of recovery from your addiction, and calling RCA will be your first step in getting the help you need. Recovery Centers of America answers the phone and admits patients 24/7. And because safety is a top priority, all patients and staff are routinely tested for COVID-19. RCA's expert team of physicians and medical professionals will treat you with compassion and dignity and provide an evidence-based treatment plan that is custom-tailored to your specific needs. Recovery Centers of America at Devon and Lighthouse are local and in-network with insurance providers, so they're best-in-class inpatient and outpatient care, offered both in person and via teletherapy, is affordable and accessible. Make this the year you conquer your addiction. Call today, 1-888-RECOVERY. That's 1-888-RECOVERY.
2 chocolate chip muffins coming in. Thank you.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
Hey, can someone get that?
Like at Claire's Cafe. To satisfy demand for takeout, she needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're very quiet, you can hear it. The joy, the freedom, the crunch. From 100% whole grain oats. Stay outside longer with Nature Valley Oats and Honey Crunchy Granola Bars. We are better outside.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. Now, Town Square Media has new tools that can help your business stand out and grow. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too with Town Square Media. Be one of the first business owners to sign up and receive $500 in free advertising on this station. Start growing your business today. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com. That's GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
You can watch the Sports Bash live now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Search 97.3 ESPN or visit our website, 97.3ESPN.com.
All right, welcome back. 3:21 inside the Sixers time. We'll take a look at the Sixers win last night. It's a good example of why you shouldn't get too high with a win and too low with a loss against the Cavs. It's brought to you by Jenkins. Call Jenkins for heating and air conditioning installation service and maintenance. Plumbing or drain cleaning service, 609-641-6440 for Jenkins here on the Sports Bash. All right, inside the Sixers, Kevin McCormick, our Sixers contributor from 97.3 ESPN.com all season long. Now, he'll be in the building tomorrow night for Sixers Jazz. That will be the final game before the break. So we got a lot to talk about with Kevin here as we get ready for the second half of the season. And let's start with this, Kevin, with obviously everyone is focused on improving this team. You know, what we saw last night, that's not who they are. What we saw on Saturday, that's not who they are. But I think what we all recognize is they need something. To you, what is that something that they need the most?
The most, I would have to say, would be another ball handler for that second unit. Although Shake Milton is coming off a great game last night against Indiana, that second unit has really seen it struggle in recent weeks, and it became extremely apparent when they went out west and lost Shake Milton early on after he rolled his ankle against Sacramento. I think if you can add another guard to that second unit who's looked at more of kind of a pure point guard who can allow Shake Milton to, be more of that kind of two guard and embrace his ability to score the ball on all three levels. I think it could be a big boost to that second unit.
All right. So Lowry's name comes up a lot. Obviously, 30 million is a little bit of an obstacle. Where would you stand on a guy like Oladipo versus Lowry? Would you prefer Lowry but settle for Oladipo, or would you rather Oladipo?
If I had to pick one, I think I'd go Lowry, just because although Oladipo is nice in itself, I don't think he's the kind of rental you want to go and look for. Like, he already just turned down that deal, that extension from Houston. There's been about 1,000,001 reports over the past year about how Miami's his destination. So I think no matter where he ends up this season, once the offseason comes, he's going to be going right down south to team up with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. And to get a deal done, you're looking at putting in Danny Green and either one of Mike Scott, a Terrence Ferguson, or a Tony Bradley. So although you'd give up less in terms of assets, if you got an Oladipo, you'd still have things left over to continue to upgrade this roster. I don't know if Oladipo really gives you that much. You'd have to insert him into the starting lineup. Although he shoots a lot of threes per game, he doesn't really make them. So I think in terms of the spacing standpoint, that might create a little bit of a weakness, because although Danny Green's been up and down, when he's been on, him and Seth Curry have done an amazing job really opening up that floor for Embiid and Simmons to just do their work around the rim.
All right, that's an interesting point, because I agree. He does not shoot the three well, but he does shoot a lot of them. He does score about 19, 20 points a game. So I guess the question would be, could you put Oladipo with the second unit and run him with Milton, and then keep him out there like they do with Milton sometimes and have him run with the ones where he's playing about 25 to 30 minutes with the twos, him and Milton together, and then he's getting a run with Simmons and Harris. Those guys stay out there most of the time anyway. That to me is interesting, because he's a guy that can get me a bucket with the second team, and if he's hot, you get him. Now, the problem with him, he doesn't shoot the three well, but he can get a bucket.
I don't know how I'd feel about that, just because with having to insert Danny Green in a trade like that, obviously that opens up a spot in the starting lineup. And if you want him to run with the second unit, you now have to bring somebody from that bench unit into the starting lineup. And with maybe a Matisse Thybulle, but then it goes back to the spacing aspect of it, where it's even worse than Oladipo, because Matisse doesn't even attempt the threes at the volume that Victor Oladipo is this season. So although Matisse would be defensively, I think your easiest pick there would be Furkan Korkmaz. And although he played well in the starting lineup with the Toronto Raptors, I don't know if that's the necessary upgrade, even if it means having Oladipo run the Shake Milton that second lineup. Maybe a realistic option would be trying to turn Oladipo into that. You have him in with the starters at the beginning of the game and closing games, and then you can tweak the rotation in a sense to have him run with the bulk of his minutes being with that second unit, and then you can give more time like a Korkmaz with the starters from a floor spacing aspect. But I don't know how that would work. I mean, the only thing I would say about Oladipo is, like you said, he's a guy that can put the ball on the floor. He can create. And I think if you can add a guard like that with the starting lineup, it could help you late in games, especially with how Doc Rivers has done a great job exploring Ben Simmons off the ball with the dribble handoff game and using him as a roller in the pick and roll.
Well, my concern is, Kevin, and let's see what you think. Kevin McCormick from 97.3 ESPN.com is with us. Milton, I like. I'm not trashing Milton, but in a playoff situation, late in a playoff series, I got a 24-year-old guy. I don't know that he's consistent enough that I know, hey, he's going to get me 14 tonight coming off the bench. I feel like I need a more veteran presence that can score off the bench. And I know Oladipo might not love doing it, and Lowry might not love doing it, but I almost feel like that's a better – they need someone there, because I don't know that – like Milton gives me 25 last night or whatever it is. He plays great, but the next night he gives me 4. And in a playoff 7-game series, can I depend on Milton as my main source of offense off the bench?
I'd have to say yes and no. If you go back and you look at the playoff series against Boston last season, although
here's the problem, by the way, yes and no. Some nights yes, some nights no.
But I wouldn't say it's more from the inconsistency aspect. I think it's just since we've only seen such a small sample size of Shake Milton playoff basketball, and it was running with the starting lineup, I thought he was very impressive in that series against the Celtics, even though it ended up resulting in a sweep. So I think he could be that guy. I think his defense has really improved this season. I think that was kind of the main kicker of what made him kind of look like a weakness against the Celtics in the playoffs last year. And if you look at the beginning of this season, we were talking about Shake Milton potentially being a guy who could be in the Sixth Man of the Year candidate. I think him coming back, still trying to get back to form after rolling his ankle, has definitely been effective, or affected his kind of roller coaster play. But come playoffs, I think you really could rely on a guy like Shake Milton. Although this is really only his second full season, you also need to account as a guy that spent multiple years in college. He spent his time polishing his game with Connor Johnson in the G League. So it's not like he's more of a younger prospect. He's polished. He knows his game. And I think come playoffs, he could still continue to be a piece for this team.
Hey, I like him. I'm not sitting here saying that he's not a piece. They should. I'm just saying if he's your sixth guy, are you good enough? Essentially, he's 24. At 27, yeah, you might be good enough if he's your sixth guy. At 24, he might be too inconsistent if you have ideas of making a very deep playoff run. Kevin McCormick is with us. You have written a lot about the G League stuff and watch a lot of that. We've talked about Paul Reed. You've seen him a lot more than probably most people listening today. Is he a guy that his game could – now, they put that rule in today where G League two-way guys, the 50 games is going to be pretty much wiped out. They're going to be able to play playoffs. I don't know, but do you look at him as a guy that can help this team out at all this year?
This year, I would say no. Maybe
40%. You know what you would hear from a casual fan who just says, hey, they got a guy who's 6'10", shooting 40% from three. He rebounds, he scores. Who is this guy?
The thing with Paul Reed is that at his time at DePaul, they used him a lot at the 5 spot. And even with the G League, Connor Johnson's been embracing that as well. And although it's done well for his game, my main question with that has been, if you want to polish him for the NBA level, realistically with this roster, you still need to give him minutes at the 4 as well, because, with bigger NBA centers, he might not be able to squeak by at playing the center spot at all times. So I think there's a lot of potential there, but I don't know if this year's the year for them. His 3-point shot has drastically improved, which is a great sign. His offense is strong, but he's still just such a raw talent. And I think he could get by on his athleticism, but he still needs a little bit to go. I think next year is more the year of maybe Paul Reed can come in and compete for a spot with, all the open spots that are going to be on the roster next season. But I mean, if the Sixers pull away late in the season and you can have that stretch of games where Embiid and Simmons and Harris don't need to play as much because you've kind of locked up your playoff road, maybe you throw Paul Reed out there and you try little things. I think there's some potential there as a small ball 5, but realistically, he still needs to grow at being an NBA 4.
All right. What is your thoughts on Tobias Harris and playing tomorrow night? I mean, I did see Doc kind of indicated that he almost was going to play last night. Do we feel that Harris will play tomorrow?
Seeing the way that Tobias has just been a workhorse for this team since he's got here, I want to say yes. Do I think it's the right idea? No. This is a guy that's been out there playing hard every night, up until he got hurt against Dallas. I think you just give him that extra day. Yeah, you want to head into the All-Star break on a high note, but in reality, you also want to be ready to come strong when that second half of the season starts. So if it were me, I personally didn't want him to play any of these games after he went down. Just give him that extra time, let him have the All-Star break, come back, just be completely fresh and ready to hit the ground running. But I wouldn't be shocked if he's out on the floor tomorrow night against Utah.
All right. And with that, I mean, obviously it adds another layer of offense. I want to get your thoughts on the offense that we saw last night. Sixers, shoot 43% from threes, 35 3-pointers, 13 from Korkmaz's attempts, 5 from Milton. What'd you think of the volume of three? I mean, I would imagine that some would say they don't shoot enough. 35, not enough. That's still bottom 10 of the league, I think.
A lot of people say they don't shoot enough. One guy in particular that said it on Saturday was Joel Embiid himself. He said he still feels this team doesn't get up enough threes. So seeing them come out and put the emphasis on hunting 3-point shots is crucial because, like I said earlier, with guys like Simmons and Embiid running your offense, you need that floor open. And you saw a lot of times in that Indiana game where because of the way they were shooting the ball from deep, it really opened up the floor. There was one instance about midway through the second quarter where Joel Embiid got the ball at the top of the key, and Justin Holiday second-guessed if he wanted to leave Furkan Korkmaz or not, and in that indecision allowed Embiid that kind of runway to the rim, and then Miles Turner switched on to Furkan Korkmaz, which just completely opened up the lane. So when the guys are taking them and making threes, it adds another dynamic to this offense, and it's a dynamic they're going to need with the way that Embiid and Simmons are at their best, when Embiid's dominating in the face-up game in the mid-range and Simmons is just attacking downhill.
Do you trust Korkmaz?
Honestly, no, but I think
he's shooting.
That's the thing. When
he's got that fluid catch shoot, he's all right, but it's the other times.
He has a deadly pump fake, and it's a really nice move that he's put into his arsenal. And I think when he's confident and he's feeling himself, I think he's a great piece, but he's just been very, very streaky. So I don't know if come playoffs, that's a guy you really want to fully rely on.
Joel Embiid, after the game, said his ankle was pretty sore, but said that he's willing to keep playing hurt in pursuit of the East #1 seed. I guess the question for you is, will the organization follow his feelings there and play him if he's less than 100%?
So far, it seems like they're going to let him run when he wants to run. There's been a couple games this season where he's been listed as questionable, and it's really come down to how he's felt in shoot-around. So I think it's one of those, if he's going to continue to go them and he's going to say he's all right, that they're just going to continue to let him run, especially if he does have his eyes set on that MVP trophy. He's going to need to be out there to play a good amount of games if he wants to win that award.
I'll tell you, I was just looking at the standings, and we're only halfway through, but I'll ask you the question that I was asking before. If they're the #1 seed, do you view them as a legit title contender? Or if they're the #1 seed with this team, do you view them as that Hawks team from a couple of years ago, or the Raptors when they had Lowry and DeRozan, where, you're the #1 seed, but you're not the favorite? Would they be the favorite if they're the #1 seed, or kind of one of those other teams?
I think no matter what, in a grand scheme, they're never really going to be looked at as the universal favorite just because of the star power that Brooklyn has. I think come playoffs, everyone's just going to be saying that they're the team that should be, that team that's going to come out of the East. But as currently constructed, I would say they have a chance. I don't know how confident I am just because we've seen the bench issues. And although the starting lineup's been great, if you can't even have sustainable bench minutes, it's really going to hurt you come postseason. So if Daryl Morey can go out and use the assets they have to kind of round out this bench, I think it might convince me a little more that they can be that team to be the favorite to come out of the East. But as currently constructed, I would still say you need some improvements around the edges.
All right, he's Kevin McCormick. Follow him at Kevin McCormick. MC. Man, this is all too confusing for me. You tell him.
It's Kevin MCC 973.
There we go. Kevin MCC 973. Follow him for tomorrow night for the news on the Sixers. He will be in the building for Sixers and Jazz. And then, Kevin, the next time you're in the building, there's going to be fans in there.
Who'd have thought?
Where are they going to sit them? You guys have got those great seats right now.
Yeah, I hope I don't lose my killer view.
I know, right? The media
I've been
people,
spoiled.
if they get moved out of those seats and go back to where you normally sit, not good.
I've been spoiled so far. I don't know how I'm going to feel once fans are back in the arena.
I know, and I said to myself, what are they going to have, like 3,000 fans? I don't know. I mean, I imagine they're going to keep the tarping up on the one side, so the fans will probably be on where you guys are sitting, I would imagine, right?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they try and open up behind the baskets and try and space. I think you could still keep the media where they are and maybe spaced everyone out properly still around the lower bowl, so everyone, like the fans that are still there, still have a good view. But I don't know. I guess it's just one of those you have to wait and see.
All right. Kevin will be there Wednesday night for all the details. Go to 973ESPN.com. Kevin, appreciate it, man.
All right. Thanks a lot, Gil. Take care.
All right. Inside the Sixers, Kevin McCormick here. Of course, our Sixers contributor from 973ESPN.com. Those guys do a great job on the Sixers. Kevin McCormick, Jay Blevins, and, of course, Paul Hudrick, who is back tomorrow for Inside the Sixers. It's the Sports Bash brought to you by Copiers Plus, providing quality products and services to South Jersey businesses since 1986. Services their specialty. Visit them online at copiersplus.com. All right, when we come back, it is the Sports Bash. Watch the show live. Go to our website right now, 973ESPN.com. It's our headlines. And the headlines say this. There are 5 teams in the NFL that the NFL can force to be on Hard Knocks. I'll tell you which 5 those teams are, and I ranked the best stories. I didn't watch the Hard Knocks last year for the first time since the series has been around, but these 5 teams might make me. I'll rank them for you coming up next.
We never stop talking Eagles and NFL. It's football at 4, every day at 4 p.m. on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
It's not quite March, but that doesn't mean the college basketball fun has to wait. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is giving all new players the chance to bet $1 on any team to hit a three-pointer in any basketball game this week. And if your team makes it rain, you cash $100. That's right. All it takes is for one three-pointer being hit by your chosen team to turn $1 into $100. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 973 to get your shot to turn $1 into $100 when you bet on any team to hit a three-pointer in any basketball game this week. That's code 973 for new customers only at DraftKings Sportsbook. That's code 973. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey only, new customers only, restrictions apply. Winnings paid out in 4 $25 free bets. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's time for some straight talk. Tax returns could look a little different this year. So when the big carriers start trying to get you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk Wireless, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199. Plus, get our unlimited plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense. Tune into Straight Talk Wireless. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Savings may vary. See straighttalk.com. Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/news. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Are you one of the millions of Americans who experience occasional bloating, gas, or abdominal discomfort? Join the Align Healthy Gut Team Up and see how healthy your gut can feel. Align contains a quality probiotic strain developed by gastroenterologists. It adds more good bacteria to your gut to naturally help soothe your occasional digestive upsets with continued daily usage. This is the time to join the Align Healthy Gut Team Up from the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Sign up at AlignProbiotics.com.
O'Reilly.
This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
After the 3rd time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Did you know just the simple act of dressing for work can make you more productive? According to a recent study by the Wall Street Journal, getting dressed for work each morning can even improve your performance. Untucked shirts are the easy way to look sharp instantly, and they're designed to be worn untucked so you'll stay comfortable all day long. So for your next Zoom call, lose the t-shirt and grab an untucked shirt instead. It'll also be your go-to when we start returning to all the things we've been missing. Try one today at any Untucked store or at untucked.com. Untucked shirts, designed to be worn untucked.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
All right, Sports Bash is live on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And don't forget, watch the show live at 97.3ESPN.com. All right, so we'll get to today's headlines in just a minute. They're brought to you by PropSwap, where America buys and sells sports bets. PropSwap.com. Get the PropSwap app today. All right, so I told you before, there are 5 teams that could be on Hard Knocks this season. Now, I'm a big fan of the Hard Knocks franchise. I did not watch this year. What was it? Who was on Hard Knocks this year? It was the Rams and Chargers? Weren't the Rams on it before? When Jeff Fisher was the coach and they cut Nick Foles. So the Rams have been on it twice now. All right, so I'm going to there are some interesting possibilities for Hard Knocks this year. Okay, you ready for these? These are the 5 teams that could be forced to be on Hard Knocks this year, okay? These are the 5 teams that they can force to be on Hard Knocks. You say, how can you force a team to be on Hard Knocks? Well, there's certain criterias that they don't have a head coach heading into their first year, so the Eagles cannot be forced to be on Hard Knocks. They haven't appeared on Hard Knocks in the last 10 years. The Eagles have never been on Hard Knocks. They haven't made the playoffs in the last 2 seasons. The Eagles did make the playoffs. Believe it or not, as bad as everybody thinks the Eagles are, they have made the playoffs in the last 2 seasons, so they can't be forced to be on Hard Knocks. But these are the teams that could be forced to be on Hard Knocks, all right? Now, you tell me, do any of these teams interest you? Because a couple of these teams I would have interest in. Number 5 of the teams that can be on there, the Denver Broncos. Now, that team seems to be about as blah as you can get in the NFL right now. Drew Lock is currently their quarterback, but maybe they get a trade. Maybe they try to bring in somebody different. I don't know what kind of storylines they have out there, but really, I could envision, this is why I would like Denver. Like each team that's on here, I have a reason why I would like them. If the Denver Broncos ended up being on Hard Knocks, the story would be John Elway. That would be who you would see all over Hard Knocks, I would imagine. So you would get to see John Elway be inept at his job because he has not been a very good executive, even though he's a football guy. He is a football guy, John Elway, but not very good at being an executive. But that's it. The Denver Broncos are about as blasé as you could find in the NFL right now. Now, if they end up making a trade, let's say they get Deshaun Watson, that's a different scenario. But other than that, I think John Elway being the executive of the Denver Broncos is the most appealing thing about the Denver Broncos. The number 4 team that the NFL can force to be on Hard Knocks, the Carolina Panthers. Now, there's a couple reasons why I would be interested in this. 1, our buddy Colin Thompson might be the star of the show. Our former co-host here on the Sports Bash. He would be, Colin would work his way to be a very fun figure on the, he has his own podcast. He certainly would be a guy that would find his way on the camera a lot. He might even be listening right now. I think he's working out in Cape May. But the Carolina Panthers would be fun for that reason, number 1. Number 2, why would the Carolina Panthers be good? Well, Matt Rule is the coach, and he is a ton of energy. Rule would be a great guy to have as the coach that you get to follow around on Hard Knocks. Other than that, I don't know that they have a whole heck of a lot of fun. Bridgewater, is he going to be the quarterback there? Are they going to bring somebody else in? Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Deshaun Watson, one of the teams he said that he would agree to play for is Carolina. They were all SEC teams except for the Jets. It was like Clemson, and the Jets, essentially. It was like Miami, Carolina, and the Jets. I think there might have been one other team. But other than the fact that we would have a direct connection with Colin and then Matt Rule, Carolina would probably be a lower pick on my list of these teams that are the 5 teams that can be forced to be on Hard Knocks. Number 3, the New York Giants can be forced to be on Hard Knocks this year. You have any interest in the Giants being on Hard Knocks? No, you say. Huh. See, I think it would be neat to see the other NFC East teams and kind of go into what they're doing, get a little bit of a glimpse of what's going on there. I'm surprised that you just gave me like the sour face with a no.
First of all, the only way that having the Giants in there be interesting is we get a ton of Gettleman to make fun of. That'd be the only way to.
Well, I mean, don't you think Joe Judge would be an interesting guy to see, like how he runs practice? We heard all these things, like he makes these guys run, and he's like the 8th grade ACJFL coach.
I mean, I guess he'd be interesting, but I feel like I would personally have more interest in seeing Matt Rule, Joe Brady with the Panthers than I would with Joe Judge and. Who's even the offensive coordinator? Didn't Jason Garrett lead the OC?
I don't know if Garrett left or not. I know he had some interviews out there. I mean, but you got Saquon Barkley coming back. You got Daniel Jones, and whether or not, what they think of him out there. I think it would be interesting. Now, if you got the access that you really want, like Joe Judge being in the offensive room with the quarterback coach and the coordinator saying, hey, do we really think Daniel Jones is the guy? Like, that would be something.
Also, I need Gettleman and Joe Judge talking about Daniel
that
Jones.
too. Gettleman, Judge, the quarterback, like all of them, like breaking down, like, hey, we're not getting enough from the quarterback here.
Right.
Like that would be, so I think the Giants would kind of be neat only because, and like I put them slightly above Carolina because they're in the NFC East.
Like, remember that scene when all those coaches were in the room with the Browns?
Yeah.
And Haley and Hugh
absolutely.
Jackson. Like, I need something like that from this. I can't have just Joe Judge.
Now, what did you think of this
last
season?
Okay, I liked the past season because it was in the middle of the COVID situation, and they showed you every layer of the things the players have to do. The Chargers' own COVID problems in camp. The fact that the Rams and the Chargers just were practicing in an empty stadium at one point. It was ridiculous. So you got to see like the behind the scenes of how the NFL was handling and figuring out the COVID situation.
Okay. So the Giants would be mildly interesting.
Mildly.
All right. Number 2 of the 5 teams they can force to be on Hard Knocks, the Dallas Cowboys. So another NFC East team.
That's way more intriguing.
The whole Dak thing, right? I mean, who knows?
Dak, Zeke, McCarthy, Jerry Jones, Steven Jones, the 3 wide receivers.
Like if you're the NFL.
The new defensive coordinator.
That's true, too. I mean, coming off a terrible season.
Terrible.
Look, obviously, so if you're the NFL, because I think there's a team that's more compelling that's number 1 on my list. But if you're the NFL, and even if this team is more compelling, don't you just go Dallas?
I mean, I personally would. And now, remember, Dallas has been on Hard Knocks before, but it's been a long time.
Well, it hasn't been 10 years because that's one of the criteria. If you've been in within 10 years and they can't force you to be on, you can't have been in the playoffs in the last 2 years. And Dallas, of course, doesn't qualify there.
I think Bill Parcells was the coach the last time they were on Hard Knocks.
And you can't have a new head coach, which they don't. They had McCarthy last season. So Dallas fits all the criteria. They haven't been in the playoffs. They don't have a new head coach, and they haven't been on in 10 years. So these 5 teams can all be forced to be on. If you're the NFL, you got to force Dallas, right?
Well, who's your number 1 team?
Arizona is the number 1 team. They got Kyler Murray, Kingsbury. Kingsbury's got the house out there that we all saw on draft night. That's a whole story going on there. DeAndre Hopkins. They just got J.J. Watt.
I would still go Cowboys. Personally.
I would think, but I'm saying me personally, I think the Arizona story would probably be more interesting.
That's a good pick by you, though. I will give you that. That's a good pick because what you're doing is you're going on terms of interesting, learning information, finding out some of the dynamics, what's going on there. Because it's not like you get like a ton of Arizona Cardinals coverage out there.
No, and now the Cardinals were on that the show that the Eagles were on 2 years, that All or Nothing was on Amazon
Prime.
Yeah, they were on that show, but that was like 5 or 6 years ago.
I think that was when Bruce Arians was coaching. Still,
right, but I mean,
Carson Palmer.
Kingsbury, the whole story with him at the draft, being at his house, I'm imagining they would make that like a total part of the show.
The other thing you got to do if you do the Cardinals is you got to do something about the whole like Kyler Murray, like his relationship with people, because he's a very gregarious guy. So he's someone that could really be a superstar.
Know what would end up happening They're going to follow Kyler Murray to like the batting cage. You'll see him in there ripping fastballs. Yep. And then the producer will say, you ever get the itch to play baseball? And he'll look at the camera and be like, you kidding me? All the time. And then the report will come out, Murray thinking about playing baseball. Right?
Then they'll ask Russell Wilson about his next press conference.
Seriously, like Murray would be, him. But I would say they're the 5 teams that the NFL can force to be on Hard Knocks. And I think so. It's the Broncos, Cardinals, Cowboys, Giants, and Panthers.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have zero interest in the Broncos at one bit. And I love football. You know me, I watch Deion Sanders Jackson State game on ESPN Plus. Okay. I love football. I have little to no interest in a Hard Knocks with the Broncos.
No, they have the least compelling stories to me at all, other than just like, hey, John Elway is the executive there. But only 5 teams fit the criteria that they don't have a new head coach, they haven't appeared on Hard Knocks in 10 years, and they didn't make the playoffs in the last 2 years.
So if it's the Cowboys or the Cardinals, would you be happy?
Oh, I think both of those teams, yeah. The NFC East teams, I'm all in on. I would even be if Washington got picked, they can't be forced, but they can volunteer.
Now, really quick, is there a team not among those 5 you just named that if you had the power to say that team had to be on Hard Knocks, which team would it be?
Well, obviously, I don't know. Would you want to see the Eagles on there?
Why not?
I don't know. Sometimes you get too close. Like, okay, now you're giving me too much information. Like, I want to like certain guys, and then I see them on Hard Knocks, and I'm like, oh, I don't like that guy.
Well, the truth hurts sometimes.
I mean, obviously, I would but I thought the All or Nothing with the Eagles was kind of disappointing. Did you watch that?
I saw it.
On
I
Amazon?
didn't like it.
I bailed out after a couple of shows.
I think I watched only 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, I was out.
Yeah, it was too overly edited.
I'm trying to think if there's one other team that I might be interested in. Well, I mean, if you put Tampa Bay on,
there you go.
That would be interesting.
Brady, Gronk, Arians. Arians loves to drop F-bombs.
All right, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. Watch the show live at 97.3ESPN.com. We appreciate everybody who watches the show. Be a part of the show. You can text in 609-403-0973. Headlines are brought to you by PropSwap, America's sports betting marketplace. Sell your sports bets, take your profit. Find out how at PropSwap.com or download the PropSwap app today. When we come back, it is another edition of Football at 4. Andrew DeCecco from Inside the Birds.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff. Learn more, live better.
Does this sound familiar? You're sending an email while you're on a Zoom call, or you're talking on the phone while scrolling through your computer. We might think multitasking helps us get more done, but actually it could be the opposite. Dividing our attention among too many tasks can negatively affect memory, attention span, and even relationships. Multitasking doesn't allow our brain to fully process information into our long-term memory, and it can lead to issues when we try to remember information once time has passed. Frequent multitaskers have also been shown to get more distracted than those who practice single tasking, and relationships can deteriorate. Have you ever been to dinner with a friend who's constantly on their phone? If we focus on one thing at a time, we can be more present and get more done. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff, empowering you to live a healthier life.
Lately, we're doing a lot more at home, which means we're doing a lot less driving. With pay-per-mile car insurance from Allstate, you only pay for the miles you drive. Drive less, save 50% with Allstate. You've never been in better hands. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Includes a daily rate. Prices vary based on how you buy. Not applicable in California. Based on annual premium paid by Allstate standard auto customers versus Allstate pay-per-mile customers who drive an average of 4,000 miles a year. Savings vary subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates. Copyright 2020 Allstate Insurance Company.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facility safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, everybody, it's Mike Gill again for my friends over at PropSwap.com. Luke Pergandy is with me. He's going to explain to you, if you were watching on Saturday night, you saw the Jayhawks knock off Baylor for their first loss of the year. And I know that PropSwap right now has a Michigan ticket, and that guy has a ton of leverage right now to make a ton of money thanks to PropSwap.
He bet $800 in December at 125 to 1 odds on Michigan to win the college basketball tournament. Fast forward to today, I can make the argument Michigan looks like the best team in the country. To your point, Baylor just dropped one. They looked really beatable. So this guy has his $800 ticket up for sale on PropSwap for $20,000.
Now, explain to our listeners how that could be them. They go in and buy a ticket for a long shot or a team that they like to win the NCAA tournament. And if they get hot in that tournament, they can then post that ticket at PropSwap, and then the bids start coming in.
I'm not expecting everyone to go make $800 bets, but on a much smaller scale, say you bet $10, that $10 ticket on Michigan would now be worth $250. And Michigan doesn't even have to win. We're still, 2 weeks from Friday is when March Madness begins. So you could turn $10 into $250, no questions asked.
Last one, we're getting to All-Star Weekend. The Lakers seemingly are still the favorites, but I feel like the NBA is a great chance for prop swappers to go out there and pick a couple teams that you like as a dark horse that can beat the Lakers this year. And then once we get to the playoffs, sell that ticket at PropSwap.
The Mavericks at 50 to 1. They're streaking pretty nicely. The Phoenix Suns at 42 to 1. The Heat at 40 to 1. I'm not saying these three teams are going to win the NBA Finals, but what I am saying is I think those numbers will go down, and you can flip your $50 ticket for $400.
It is the easiest way to make some side hustle money. PropSwap.com. Thanks, Luke.
Thanks, Mike.
It's time for some straight talk. Your tax return could look different this year, but you're still going to hear a lot of noise about how to spend it. So when the big carriers tell you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199. Plus, get the $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense and tune in to Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Sports is using technology to take the fan experience to the next level. When it comes to hiring, there's one solution that's been advancing its technology for years, ZipRecruiter. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/max. ZipRecruiter's technology identifies people with the right experience and invites them to apply to your job. No wonder 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/max. That's ZipRecruiter.com/max.
South Jersey's play-by-play home for the Eagles,
Touchdown!
Sixers, and Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station. 97.3 ESPN presents The Sports Bash with Mike Gill. It's time for Football at 4 with 97.3 ESPN.com's Andrew DeCecco.
My first allegiance is what will be best for the Philadelphia Eagles and our fans for the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Now, live from inside the Matt Black Kia Studios. It's Football at 4.
Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast and brought to you by Dr. Lyle M. Back. For everything from skincare to cosmetic surgery, go to ilovelylback.com or call 856-MAKEOVER for Dr. Lyle M. Back, proud sponsor of Football at 4. Andrew DeCecco is in the house today for today's edition of Football at 4, and he, like all guests, appear via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. And he is with me now here on a Football at 4 Tuesday as he joins me here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. What's going on, Andrew?
Hey, Mike. Doing well. How are you?
All is well, my man, as we are inching closer to free agency and everything else that is going on in this offseason for not only the Eagles, everybody else is, in an interesting spot. We're seeing some moves being made, some big names. I feel like it's going to be very interesting. We've been talking a lot about some of the veteran players that the Eagles might have to release or figure out how to restructure, guys like Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks. But I guess the one question to start off with is, like, you see a guy like Kyle Van Noy who's going to be released today. Would you think that the Eagles can be a player for any of those type of guys, or is their financial situation going to basically preclude them from adding these guys who end up getting, the short end of the stick because of all the financial restraints that everybody's going through?
Well, their financial situation really hampers their ability to kind of lure some of the more prominent free agents there, obviously. And guys are more willing to kind of mold themselves into, being able to take less to come to a team that's at least a contender. And the Eagles are obviously far from that. So they really don't have, it's not really a desirable landing spot at this current time. And they're going to have to do some restructuring and get creative with how they move their money around, because they need to add some depth pieces, particularly at the backup quarterback position. You could add a veterans outside corner. I think you could use some to bolster the depth there. But I mean, I just don't know what kind of player you're going to be able to bring in with such a limited cap space.
Yeah, I know Van Noy's a guy that I really liked when he was coming out of BYU. Yeah, and he signed that big deal with the Dolphins. But obviously, everybody's got these cap problems because of the way the cap got lowered. I think he would be an interesting guy, but obviously, as you just kind of stated, they're in some cap problems themselves. Obviously, second worst cap situation in the league, which means they're going to have to do most of their help with bottom-end free agents and, of course, the draft. So let's look at a couple draft things as we're getting ready, as I know you're doing a lot of draft stuff for Inside the Birds. When you look at the quarterback situation, number 6, obviously, Jalen Hurts, the team took him number 53. There are a lot of variables here, but if Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields is there at number 6, how do you kind of compare Hurts to those guys?
Well, the one player that I would say that is decidedly better than Jalen is Justin Fields. And that's the only player, if the Eagles are going to go that route and look for a quarterback, he's the only player to me that makes sense, because he's more mechanically sound than Jalen is right now. He's a more polished, accurate passer. He has a stronger arm. He delivers the ball with more velocity, obviously. So these are certain qualities that you just see right off the bat. And, he has similar issues that Hurts has as far as processing and reading defenses, but that's what you'd expect from a rookie. But, I mean, from a mechanical standpoint and just the poise, he has that. And, yeah, he's a little bit bigger than Jalen and has a stronger arm. So I think he can make throws at all three levels. Zach Wilson and Trey Lance, those guys are intriguing, but I don't know how much better they are than Jalen is at this stage. And I don't know that if you're in a position at pick number 6 to roll the dice on a quarterback. I mean, last time we spoke, we talked about that Patrick Mahomes, I believe, was the only first-round quarterback to win a Super Bowl in however many years that you mentioned. But I mean, it is a crapshoot when you're looking at that position, and the Eagles have so many holes all over the roster that I don't think that you can afford another year of playing quarterback musical chairs when you have a player who, let's say, a corner or a wide receiver like Jamar Chase. These guys can help you right now, and you need to start building the roster. And you'll find out sooner or later if Jalen Hurts is the guy. But if not, you'll likely have an opportunity to get that quarterback next year.
Yeah. So, all right, that's the draft side of things. What about the veteran side of things? There's been some talk about Marcus Mariota. I've read Jacoby Brissett's name, even Ryan Fitzpatrick, who said, he wants to go to a place where he has a chance to start. I don't know how financially they can fit those guys in, but if they don't draft a guy, they're going to have to bring a veteran quarterback in. So they got to figure out a way to bring a veteran guy in. But do you think that's a better way to go? Bring in an established veteran, have them compete, or maybe not so much compete, but just be the safety net?
Well, if I'm the Eagles, you don't want to rely on adding another rookie quarterback to a quarterback room that only has Jalen Hurts right now. You need a veteran voice in there to kind of coach him, guide him, show him the way, help him learn Nick Sirianni's offense. And I think when you look at what all those qualities, you're looking at a guy like Ryan Fitzpatrick, who I'm not exactly sure how many suitors he's going to have on the open market given his age. And there's other options out there, especially in the draft. And you mentioned Jacoby Brissett, who's going to be a really tantalizing option for many teams because he does have some upside, and he's much younger. But I think Ryan Fitzpatrick offers a player kind of like Josh McCown, who's been in so many different systems that can really help Jalen adapt and help the offense kind of everybody get on the same page. And I think that would be a valuable option. And I don't know how much he's actually going to, I don't think the team's going to have to break the bank to get a guy like Ryan Fitzpatrick in there. So, I mean, that name to me makes the most sense.
I would have interest in Brissett. You wouldn't? I mean, he played for Sirianni. He knows don't most of the time these coaches tend to go with the guy that they know and bring somebody they're familiar with?
Yeah, sure. But I think that Jacoby Brissett's going to have more suitors and he's going to, command more money than Ryan Fitzpatrick will in the open market. And I don't know if the Eagles are in position to do that. If they can, I mean, by all means, yes, go for him. But I do think that Jacoby Brissett has starting ability, bottom tier starter, granted, but I do think that he'll, I think he should have that. He's going to look for that opportunity because I do think that he has the skills to be a starter.
I want to ask you particularly about, a lot of people are asking me about Micah Parsons. We talked to Jeff yesterday. He doesn't think the Eagles would go that route. That's just not historically what they've done. But another question that keeps coming up is, what if you trade down? Is there another linebacker in this particular draft in the first round or someplace else that you would say, don't take Parsons at 6. You can get this guy either in later on if you move out or somebody that you might target in round number 2?
Well, yeah, I agree with Jeff. I don't, given, the Eagles' history, it's not likely that they'll take a guy like Micah Parsons there. Although I know you've expressed that that's the area that you would like to see them, address with that number 6 pick. I like a guy like Missouri's Nick Bolton. He's someone that played all three linebacker positions in college. A little bit shorter, about at least like 6 foot, goes about 232, but he's very fast, has the range, terrific in pass coverage. Might not be a 3-down linebacker right away, but I think that he's going to contribute to a defense right away and has very high upside. And I think he's going to be, if it weren't for his slighter build, I think he would be a surefire first-round pick. Could end up sliding right to where the Eagles pick at the top of the second round. And I think he would be an option there. Also, LSU's Jabril Cox is probably one of my favorite guys. I had him going originally to the Eagles with the 7th pick in the third round. Now I'm starting to see that might not be a realistic possibility. I think his stock's going to continue to soar as we move forward in the pre-draft process. He might be see his stock catapult into the back end of the second round. I like his size and his skill set translates very well to the current NFL defenses. That you really need to have that versatile pass coverage acumen to cover these hybrid tight ends and running backs, and be able to cover and flow sideline to sideline. I think he gives them that. So those are a couple guys there that I would look at back end of if you were to trade down in the first or look in the second and possibly even the third round.
If you trade it down, 6, 7, you're at 6. If you're going 7, 8, 9, what's an area that you feel like you would be able to still get an impact player?
Well, by my estimation, I think the top 10, I think you're going to see, that's when I think you're going to see the corners, Patrick Surtain, Caleb Farley. I think those guys are going to round out the top 10. I think that at 6, I'm not entirely sure that either of those guys would be the best player available at 6. However, if you were to trade down and go for, 7, 8 range, something like that, 9 even, you're going to get a top tier corner and pick up, additional assets. And that's not bad because you're going to get a top outside corner without having to reach for one at 6. If you're going to have some teams that are going to be ready to jump and get to that 6 spot if they have something that they really covet, like one of the quarterbacks. So there's going to be talent there. I mean, you can even consider Kyle Pitts. I know that name has been brought up a lot, but if you trade down into the 9 range or 8, Kyle Pitts is a guy that I would give serious consideration to.
In your opinion, what is the deepest position in this year's draft?
Well, it's actually very well balanced. I think that the linebacker position is much deeper than it has been. The receivers are pretty deep. I like the offensive tackles in this class. The quarterbacks are more top heavy in this draft, but I mean it's pretty well balanced. I mean, I was going over the first round just off the top of my head, and last year was the historically deep wide receiver class. I believe there was 13 guys that went in the first 2 rounds, and the year before that It was very heavy on the defensive line, but when I look at the identity for this year, it's pretty well balanced throughout.
Which means, getting more picks, trading back to get more picks could be the best way to go. And I guess it all depends on what their draft board looks like and who would be there still at number 6 and how far back they would feel comfortable. But I guess one question would be, you mentioned Pitts, and if let's say he's on their board at number 6 and he's the highest rated guy, does that say to you, all right, we should trade out of the spot, or you just take Pitts?
I think that they need to go with their board, stick with it. If that's their guy at 6, then take it and don't overthink it, because a lot of times the Eagles have really thrown a wrench into their draft plans by trying to outsmart everybody, and obviously the results speak for themselves. I think that they need to stay true to their draft board, and if Pitts is, like I said, like in your scenario, if Pitts is their 6th, is their guy at 6, then don't get cute and trade down and think that you're going to be able to get him at 8 or 9, because that's what you think that the league views him as.
Right.
You take him and you don't think twice about it.
Yeah, and you just kind of brought up, like, they say, okay, Pitts is the best player, but we don't really, I don't know, where do you feel like, do we really need that position? Now, I like Pitts as more than just a tight end. So because he's the best player on our board, that would tell us we can move out of this spot. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, as opposed to, all right, the best player on our board is Chase. We could really use that, so we'll stay here.
Yeah. It's a dangerous game to play if you're the Eagles. Like, if you're at 6 and you have Jamar Chase as your next best player at that spot, you take him. If you have Kyle Pitts rated above Jamar Chase,
yeah,
and he doesn't fit that wide receiver mold that you're looking for, you take Kyle Pitts and you figure it out, because Kyle Pitts can be much more than a tight end. We've mentioned that on here before, and it all depends. It depends on how their board is, but I don't think that they should kind of shift their opinions based on need. That's the recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I did like. So watching Pitts in games, I'm a fan of Pitts, and I like him, and I would probably be okay taking him. The more I watch him just on tape by himself, I'm thinking, man, if I can get my hands on this guy, what a tremendous weapon he would be in your offense. Like, he is the modern weapon in today's game. He just can do everything.
Yeah, and that's why getting a linebacker that has all these different traits, unique traits, and especially in pass coverage, is so important, because you're seeing more and more guys like a Kyle Pitts that can be moved around and used a myriad of different ways, that you need to have a guy. That's why a guy like Micah Parsons is so valuable. He's not just a linebacker. He's the type of guy that's going to be the answer to covering some guys like Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, Parsons, Pitts, those two guys do things that other guys at that position don't do. They're so intriguing. Patrick Surtain, I wouldn't say he's different than others. You like Caleb Farley better than Surtain, right?
Yeah, I do. I think that his upside is far superior than Patrick's. I think Patrick is the safer option. Caleb, of course, has the a little bit of an injury background in college. The non-contact ACL in 2017 and the lingering back issue in 2019 that forced him out of 2 games. But he's a ball hawk, and that's what the Eagles really need. He's a ball hawk. He comes up with turnovers. Yeah, he played in 23 games at Virginia Tech. That might not be a large enough sample size for some, but to me, he showed a lot in that time, and he has the prototypical size. Just the measurables are there. I really like his upside, and I think he offers the most upside of all the corners in this class.
Now, I got to ask you this, because one position that I haven't heard a whole heck of a lot about is safety. And I was thinking about the other day, the Eagles might need 2 new safeties. So is safety not a position that you can consider at number 6?
It's not a safety, in my opinion, that you should even consider taking.
Right?
Not that high.
Not that high.
Not to mention,
is there a trade down?
Unless it's like, unless you're looking at in the years past, you go way back, you look at a guy like Eric Berry or something like that. There's not an Eric Berry type safety in this draft. Derwin James, if you want to look at more recently. You're going to have opportunities to get a guy like a Caden Stearns from Texas or Paris Ford from Pitt. You can get those guys in the 3rd, 4th round, and they're going to be I like them more than I like Kayvon Wallace, for example, who was taken in the 4th round. I think if they offer a high upside, I see Kayvon Wallace more of a rotational third safety that can contribute in sub packages and be a special team standout. But Richie Grant from UCF will be a 2nd round guy. He's another option. There's just you're gonna have some choices, but definitely not any consideration with their 6th pick.
Yeah, that is. I was just because we were going through certain things about the defense yesterday, and I said, McLeod's coming off ACL. Mills is most likely not. I mean, if you re-sign him, fine, but if you don't, your 2 starting safeties need to be replaced. You're not going to take one at 6. You don't want to start 2. If you take one in the 2nd round and one with one of your 2 third-round picks, you don't want to start 2 rookies playing safety next to each other. So that's going to be a very tough area to fix this offseason, it seems like.
Oh yeah, in a big way. I mean, and just kind of assessing the position, I think it's a no-brainer to re-sign Jalen Mills. As much of a backlash as he gets, he kind of draws the ire of fans. He really has done an adequate job, in my opinion, and I think that you re-sign him, given just the bare covered situation of the safety position. I think you have to re-sign him. You have Kayvon Wallace, who you drafted last year. You see how Jonathan Gannon and those guys can kind of develop him, and then I think you add a young safety to that mix, and they do like. I mean, I know I can say that Jim Schwartz like Marcus Epps. We'll see how this new coaching regime feels about that. But as a 4th safety, I mean, he's a good special teams player. So I mean, I do anticipate them maybe getting a low end veteran in free agency to maybe kind of round that out and fight for a roster spot, and definitely addressing it through the draft.
All right, very good draft stuff. We'll continue with it as the draft about 2 months away now. We're getting closer to the NFL draft, but the Eagles with that number 6 pick, you're going to start obviously zoning in a lot more on. There's a lot of positions we just talked about. They need a corner. They need a linebacker. They need a now you like tackle. I am not a fan of taking a tackle. I know you like Sewell. I don't not like them. I just don't. I feel like they have so many other areas. They have enough in-house options to try to get through a year before they need to take a tackle. You don't agree with that?
I mean, you're banking on Andre Dillard. You're counting Andre Dillard as one of those in-house options, and you're counting Lane Johnson, who's missed some time with injury. So to kind of, you're rolling the dice if you're banking on those guys to be there when you have a phenomenal prospect in Penei Sewell that shouldn't even be available at 6. So I think if he is, you run to the podium and make him your pick, and he's going to be that franchise left tackle when in future All-Pro.
Hey,
so
I like the idea. Like the idea if I don't have so many, but I have Mailata, who I'm willing to give a shot. You mentioned Dillard, who I traded up to get. I still don't know if I have an answer on him yet. I'm not saying I don't like Sewell, but I feel like I have so many other problems that I at least would give Mailata and Dillard a shot this year. Look, Lane Johnson is a guy that I paid a lot of money to be there for at least another 3 or 4. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I can't really just say I'm done with him. Therefore, I say I like Sewell, but I got enough in-house options. I have too many other holes.
Yeah, it's not so much saying you're done with Lane Johnson, but it's more so protecting yourself, because the Eagles have made that mistake in other positions. Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey, we're good at receiver. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, we're good at receiver. And then when their plan A doesn't work out, all of a sudden your quarterback struggles and the offense has no outside weapons because you kind of oversold what you had or you rated them a little bit too highly. And I think if you go into the season saying, yeah, we got former first round pick and Andre Dillard, we got Mailata, who was great in his sample size that we saw from him, showed a lot of encouraging signs of development. And then we got Lane Johnson. He'll be back from his ankle injury. We're all set there. And then, all it takes is an injury or two. And given the Eagles' history, I think that's fair to expect. And then all of a sudden you have a quarterback who's, under siege constantly every weekend. It's hard to evaluate anybody when you have no offensive line. And if the Eagles if you're going by the best player available, I have to think that if he's there at 6, he's at the top of the list.
All right, that one you and I will be debating over the next couple of months here, I'm sure more. Andrew DeCecco, Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Good stuff as always, Andrew. Looking forward to more draft conversation, the NFL offseason, and everything here on Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Thanks, man.
You bet. Take care.
All right, he'll be back on Thursday. We will continue to look at the draft and get closer to the offseason. Free agency about 2 weeks away. Opens up on Wednesday the 17th. NFL free agency, I believe, is the day. Football at 4 brought to you by Dr. Lyle M. Back. Everything from skincare to cosmetic surgery. But ILoveLyleBack.com or call 856-MAKEOVER for Dr. Lyle M. Back, proud sponsor of Football at 4. And this hour of the show, it is brought to you by our friends at PropSwap, where America buys and sells sports bet. Go to PropSwap.com or download the PropSwap app today. All right. Speaking of the Eagles, I was thinking about this today. I was listening to KJZ this morning. Best case, worst case scenarios for the Eagles. Hear what ESPN's Eagles reporter Tim McManus answered for both. See if you guys agree with what he had to say. Coming up next.
Wake up weekday mornings from 6 to 10 with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on 97.3 ESPN.
If I take a guy at 6, what am I going to do with that guy? What I'm getting ready to give him $35 million.
You got to treat him like Wentz. You got to give him the job.
Got to give him the damn job. Why in the hell would I do that? That's stupid.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Today just got a little more exciting because you have the chance to win $123 million with Powerball. Talk about a way to really shake things up. So keep it interesting and take your shot because anything can happen in Jersey.
A message from your neighbors and friends at First Bank. We've been serving residents and businesses of Sea Isle City and the surrounding communities for more than 130 years. Today's challenges, while unique, are another opportunity to show our strength and resilience. Our commitment to you remains strong. Whether it's using our drive-through services, bank by phone, the First Bank mobile app, or online banking, we're staying strong with you. Be safe and be secure. First Bank, here for you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Okay, class, let's bump it up to 9.
Come on, Limu, keep pedaling. We got to build our endurance to let more people know that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Pick up the pace, bird legs.
Hey, don't talk to Limu like that.
I'm not, I'm talking to you.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Get a customized quote at libertymutual.com.
So you think you have unlimited data?
Recalculating.
Think again. If you have unlimited data on a network you can't trust, your data is limited, and so are you. Set your smartphone free with the unlimited plans from Total Wireless. Get 4 lines with unlimited data on the nation's best network now with 5G, with 100 gigabytes at high speed, then 2G for just $25 a month per line.
You have arrived at your destination.
Get unlimited and save. Total Wireless. Do amazing. Available at authorized dealers. See terms and conditions at totalwireless.com.
What can help you take advantage of today's low mortgage rates and save money? Rocket can. You could save hundreds of dollars every month by refinancing with Rocket Mortgage at today's near historic low rates. If your current rate is over 4%, with today's low rates, you could lower your payment by over $150 a month, saving thousands in interest every year. With a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, you could consolidate and pay off high-interest debt, tackle home improvements that could add value to your home, or even set aside cash for your child's future education. We've already helped over 1 million clients just like you reach their home financing goals this year alone. So remember this. What can give you the technology to refinance easily and save money? Rocket can. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com. That's 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Savings are based on quick loans, internal data. Points and fees may apply. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. MLS Consumer Access.org. Number 330.
Hey, I'm Jordan, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A new Grilled Spicy Deluxe is that cilantro lime sauce that goes on it. That's just an extra kick, a flavor explosion.
Hi, I'm Catherine, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe is the spiciness of the chicken and the coolness of the cilantro lime sauce. It's the best of both worlds.
Chick-fil-A's Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich, available for a limited time only. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
We know you're spending a lot of time at home, and maybe that home could use a little TLC. Since going to a home show isn't really a thing right now, 97.3 ESPN FM is bringing the home show to you. Local exhibitors have been setting up in a virtual show featuring the latest products and services for your home. Go to 973ESPN.com to find great articles on home improvement tips and trends. Thanks to our friends at Broadley's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Broadleys.net, your trusted source for 3 generations.
Was 2020 full of dings, dents, and scratches? Using your tax refund at Mako can help. Refresh your ride with your refund at Mako to undo a little bit of last year. Head to Mako.com to get a free online estimate today. Better get Mako.
You can watch the Sports Bash live now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Search 97.3 ESPN or visit our website, 97.3ESPN.com.
All right, what's the best case scenario for the Eagles this offseason? And what's the worst case scenarios for the offseason? Tim McManus was on KJZ this morning. I'll play that audio for you coming up in just a second. I want to tell you about my guys over at Trifecta Therapeutics, the premier sports rehab performance center in South Jersey, located right in Glassboro. The team there at Trifecta Therapeutics has the only sports manual therapy fellowship trained doc on staff in all of New Jersey. And of course, Trifecta Therapeutics offers a range of services for the active lifestyle clients, including physical therapy, ACL injury rehab, and so much more. So, if you are competing at the highest professional collegiate leagues or you're a weekend warrior, Trifecta helps the pros and the Joes. Find out more about the incredible team at Trifecta Therapeutics and how they can help you online, trifectatherapeutics.com. I'm Mike Gill. This is the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. Watch the show live at 97.3ESPN.com. We've got a nice little chat going on throughout the course of the day inside the chat little lobby there. And, of course, you can always text the show at 97.3 ESPN's text board, 609-403-0973. Tim McManus covers the Eagles for ESPN.com, asked this morning, best case scenario for the Eagles offseason. What is the best case scenario for the Eagles offseason? Tim McManus today on KJZ here on 97.3 ESPN. And you guys out there, think about it. What's the best case scenario for the offseason? Here's what Tim McManus had to say.
If Jalen Hurts develops and ends up being the guy for that, right? He showed leadership that had the locker room gravitating towards him in his rookie year. And if he can match that with a high level of play, then all of a sudden you're looking at something there, because they have a couple of young, promising prospects at the skill position plays, like Jalen Reagor is one, and Dallas Goedert being another. Miles Sanders in the backfield, an offensive line that could get on the mend, get healthy, and back to the form that they're accustomed to. So a lot of it really circles around that quarterback position. A lot of other things could fall in place pretty quickly if Jalen Hurts develops.
All right, best case scenario, he says, if Hurts ends up being the guy. I agree with him. Why not give Hurts the opportunity to be the guy? I'm not saying I don't want to hand anybody anything in this situation. But my point is, let Hurts feel that the organization is backing him. What does that mean? Well, you're the guy. You have been replaced at Alabama. You went to Oklahoma. You won there. You won at Bama. You did all these things. You've always seemed to be the guy. We're going to be the team that finally says we want you to be our guy. I feel like everybody is rushing to replace this kid. I agree with McManus. The best case scenario for the Eagles this offseason is to go into the training camp with Jalen Hurts as your guy. Open your arms, extend them, and give this guy a hug and say, we want you to be our guy. That's what I think the Eagles need to do. I agree with McManus. The best case scenario for the Eagles is to say, Jalen Hurts is our guy. And that doesn't mean you can't bring in a Jacoby Brissett or a veteran quarterback that can be that safety net. But you do it with the caveat of, we're bringing in a veteran to help Jalen Hurts, not to compete with him. We always say, I love competition. Competition brings out the best in everybody. Jalen Hurts, his whole life has been a competition. That's all this guy knows. So you're not like handing him anything. In his mind, he's still competing for the job. That's what drew you to draft him to begin with. If all the reasons you were drawn to Jalen Hurts are what they are, he's a leader. He's a guy that he fights for everything. He doesn't think anything's handed to him. That's why you drafted him. Now he has the opportunity. Don't go back on your beliefs. You're right. This guy is the guy you thought he was. So I agree 100% with McManus. The best case scenario for the Eagles offseason is if Jalen Hurts end up being the guy. And I think the Eagles should embrace it. I love what he said. And I feel like everybody is missing the point on this. I got Miles Sanders. I've got Jalen Reagor. I've got Dallas Goedert. I like my offensive line. I'm one of the few people out there that thinks this offensive line could be one of the better ones in football. Why? Because they were hurt last year. You bring these guys back, and they're healthy. I love the fact, and I just got into it with Andrew. We both went back and forth. I don't want to draft a guy at number 6 because I already drafted a guy. I drafted 2 guys at left tackle. I drafted Jordan Mailata, and I drafted Andre Dillard. I'm not ready to give up on these 2 young guys. Let them battle it out, play left tackle. I got Lane Johnson. I'm not ready to turn my back on Lane Johnson and say you're old and can't play. No, you're one of the best right tackles in football. Make my team better. I'm not ready to give up on Brandon Brooks. He's the best right guard in football. I bring that group of guys back. I feel like I can win football games if I embrace my quarterback. So what's the worst case scenario? Here's what Tim McManus said today on KJZ.
Well, the worst case scenario to me is if it's essentially a repeat of 2020, where they draft a quarterback at number 6 overall. Hurts has a negative reaction to that, like Wentz did when Hurts was drafted in the 2nd round. You have a divided locker room in terms of split allegiances amongst the quarterbacks, and it all becomes too overwhelming for first-year head coach Nick Sirianni. I mean, I think that's really the nightmare scenario, is if it's kind of a repeat of 2020 where everything goes wrong, starting with issues at the very top.
All right, I think McManus nails it again. I agree with him. Worst case scenario, Eagles draft a quarterback, and you're essentially tailing Hurts. And not that I think Hurts would negatively be affected by this, but why open up the opportunity for people to take sides? Well, you got to find the best player available. I get all that. But now you're essentially saying I drafted a guy in the 2nd round because I believed in X, Y, and Z, and now I don't believe in that anymore. You're essentially telling the new football coach, hey, and look, I know the new coach is probably going to want to bring his own quarterback in. Maybe he doesn't like Jalen Hurts. I do understand that. But here's what I'll say. Why open up your new coach, Nick Sirianni, this young coach that we don't know anything about? Why open him up to a possible quarterback controversy? And it's not a quarterback controversy where I'm drafting a guy number 6 and I have an older veteran on the way out the door that I'm just waiting for his time to be up. I have a guy who I just drafted. Why would I take a guy at number 6 and now have those 2 guys have to go after it when I have so many other problems on this team? So many other problems on this team. This team needs help on the defensive side of the ball all over the place. They need more depth at defensive end. They need more depth at defensive tackle. They need a linebacker. They need probably 2 safeties. They need a corner, and that's if they keep Slay. They have so many problems on the defensive side of the ball. The worst case scenario for the Eagles is if they draft a quarterback at number 6. It is unnecessary to go that route. It is unnecessary to put Nick Sirianni in that situation where he has to now decide between the quarterback that he drafts and that would be quote-unquote his guy up against the incumbent who he did not draft. Why would he want to play the guy that is not really attached to him? If I'm Nick Sirianni and I'm the coach, I want to go down swing with the quarterback that I took. So if I'm the Eagles, I don't want to put him in that situation. I don't want Sirianni having to make a decision. Oh, I don't want to go down with Jalen Hurts. He wasn't my guy. No, you're going to be forced to play Jalen Hurts because he's the right guy. Or at least we're not going to hold you accountable if Hurts can't play, but we want you to at least find out if he can. All right. So in the end, who will be the starting quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles? How will this play out? Tim McManus this morning on KJZ on 97.3 ESPN.
Yeah, I would put the odds there. I don't think that the Eagles have it in their minds that it's absolutely going to be Hurts. I think that they are going to be taking a hard look at quarterbacks for that number 6 overall pick. It doesn't mean that they're going to take one, but if they find what they view to be a franchise quarterback, they're not going to let the presence of Hurts hold them back from taking it. And they will add a veteran quarterback at some point. To throw in a little bit of competition and mentorship. But I think that the best odds lie in Jalen Hurts being the starter week 1.
Right.
Tim, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
That's what Tim McManus said this morning on KJZ. He thinks the best odds lie with Jalen Hurts being the starting quarterback. And I agree with them. But I am also agree with what he said. I am not ruling out that the Eagles would consider taking a quarterback at number 6. However, a tweet today from the voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, one Merrill Reese, was very interesting on this topic. And he said this in a tweet at M. Reese Eagles. Yes, Merrill Reese tweets. And he says this in a tweet. There are a lot of mock drafts bouncing around and a bunch of draft projections being written. In my opinion, the chances of the Eagles taking a quarterback with the 6th overall pick are close to 0. They will develop Jalen Hurts and sign a veteran backup. That is Merrill Reese. He tweeted that 4 hours ago. I'm not suggesting that Reese has inside information, but that's a pretty strong statement from someone who works pretty closely with the team. That the Eagles' chances of taking a quarterback 6 overall are close to 0. And Merrill, I hope that you are right. It's the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And, of course, you can watch the show live at 97.3ESPN.com. And, of course, don't forget, coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, it's a Tuesday with Thompson. The PT's here, plus former Eagles safety Quintin Mikell joins the show. Give us his thoughts on the Eagles off-season and the direction of this franchise that he played for during some good times. He played during the Reed era. Where does he see the direction of this franchise from his perspective? Quintin Mikell tonight at 5:40. All right, so that's what Merrill Reese tweeted. And I hope he's right. Sports Bash this hour is brought to you by PropSwap, America's sports betting marketplace. Sell your sports bets and take your profit. Find out how at PropSwap.com. Download the PropSwap app today. All right, coming up, here's an interesting question. So the Phillies lost today. That's inconsequential. It's a spring training game. Zach Wheeler pitched pretty well. But my question for you is, would you rather a 70-92 type of season? This is from a listener, and I want to break it down because I think it's a smart question. It's a fun question. Or do you want to go 81-81 and you're kind of in it, you're close, but you fall short of the playoffs again, but you think you're a contender because you're right there? We'll break down those scenarios coming up next. This is the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app, and watch the show live on our website, 97.3ESPN.com.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tonight on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app with Tim Saunders and Steve Coates calling all the play-by-play action.
Back
cut. He
The
scores!
Flyers are in Pittsburgh to face the Penguins. Tonight, coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey on the radio home of the Flyers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN, and listen live on the free mobile app.
Today just got a little more exciting because you have the chance to win $123 million with Powerball. Talk about a way to really shake things up. So keep it interesting and take your shot because anything can happen in Jersey.
Good morning, privates! Good morning, Drill Sergeant! I mean, seriously, what a pleasant morning. The sun is shining and the birds are chirping. You seem to be in a good mood today. Astute observation.
He's probably happy because he found out Honey Nut Cheerios can help lower cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy diet.
They're even shaped like hearts. So, in lieu of the obstacle course today, I propose a nice meditative nature walk. Does that sound delightful to everyone?
Yes, Drill Sergeant! Happy Heart Shapes are back for a limited time. Learn more about Honey Nut Cheerios by picking up a box at your local store.
Hey guys, are you afraid of taking off your shirt in public? Don't be embarrassed. Just say, I love Lyle back instead with male breast reduction. Many men develop a fullness in their chest as boys that persists and even worsens as they get older. This condition is called gynecomastia, and with simple liposuction, most cases can be effectively treated. Call 856-MAKEOVER today to schedule your private consultation with Dr. Lyle and Back. That's 856-MAKEOVER or visit ILoveLyleBack.com.
If you're a first-time buyer, finding your first real home can feel like this.
Hot property. Not going to last long. Multiple offers. 30-year fixed. We need earnest money.
But a realtor has the expertise to strip away all the noise and focus on what really matters to you.
You're going to love this place. Great neighborhood. School is walkable. It even has a huge yard so Henry can practice his penalty kicks.
Finding the right place starts with you and a realtor with the expertise to make sure your voice is the only voice that matters. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
2 chocolate chip muffins coming in. Thank you.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
Hey, can someone get that?
Like at Claire's Cafe. To satisfy demand for takeout, she needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
O'Reilly. Trust the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your car, like 5 quarts of O'Reilly full synthetic motor oil and a MicroGuard filter, just $26.99. Extend the life of your vehicle and improve performance with a synthetic oil change. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We know you're spending a lot of time at home, and maybe that home could use a little TLC. Since going to a home show isn't really a thing right now, 97.3 ESPN FM is bringing the home show to you. Local exhibitors have been setting up in a virtual show featuring the latest products and services for your home. Go to 973ESPN.com to find great articles on home improvement tips and trends. Thanks to our friends at Broadleys Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Broadleys.net, your trusted source for 3 generations.
Tax refunds are great for fresh starts, especially in 2021. Refresh your ride with your refund at Mako and make the year one you'll never forget. Head to Mako.com to get a free estimate today. Better get Mako.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
All right, 446, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. I'm Mike Gill. What's up, everybody? Tuesday with Thompson. A PT joins me in 15 minutes. Quintin Mikell tonight at 5:40. A couple text messages I want to hit on. Mike, would it make sense to bring in a veteran quarterback to groom Hurts and take over if needed instead of giving a rookie head coach 2 young quarterbacks? Of course it would make more sense, Tom. Definitely makes more sense to go that route. You heard what Andrew DeCecco says. The dude knows the draft. DeCecco knows the draft. He's fantastic on the draft. The one quarterback he said is Fields that he thinks might be better than Hurts. The other guys, you're just hoping. You're just hoping. And I'm out on hoping. You know what I'm hoping? I'm hoping to not have a season like I had last year. How do I do that? I got a kid. that I think's a winner. And if I'm wrong on that, I'll find out. But I don't want to have to put this in a situation. Now, Reese has something interesting. Merrill Reese is a good follow on Twitter, by the way. Now, what do you think about this, Josh? Merrill Reese says there are a lot of mock drafts bouncing around a bunch of draft projections. In my opinion, the chances of the Eagles taking a quarterback with the 6th overall pick are close to 0. He says they will develop Jalen Hurts and sign a veteran backup. Now, he tweeted this on February 21st. Arm strength is not a concern for Jalen Hurts. He can make all the throws with a tight spiral. At the combine, his velocity was measured at 54 miles an hour. That's right up there with the best. Justin Herbert, who has a cannon, was 55 miles an hour. It sounds like Jalen Hurts has a fan in Merrill Reese.
It does, but I would also say that what he's saying is actually not the first person to say this. I listened to an interview with the guy who trains Jalen Hurts, his quarterback coach. And he has talked about how...
Hold on, before you go further.
Yeah.
Have you seen the picture of Hurts squatting the other day? This was right up your alley.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he looked like people are going nuts by the fact that he's down squatting.
Dude, he's a power lifter. The dude squats over 600.
All right, by the way,
he bench presses more than some offensive linemen.
So Reese goes on to say, from everything I've seen and heard from people who I respect, Jalen Hurts has the physical, mental, and emotional attributes to be successful. I also believe Brian Johnson is the perfect quarterback coach to help him realize his potential.
Well, Brian Johnson, remember, he's the guy who mentored Dak Prescott in Mississippi State. He's the guy who was basically made Kyle Trask from a nobody into an NFL draft prospect and a Heisman Trophy candidate. And he knows Jalen personally. So I agree with that. I think that Brian Johnson is going to be an excellent addition to Sirianni's staff.
So I know that you're a draft guy. You're a big college football guy. Do you agree? I agree with Merrill. Now, I'm saying I agree that I think that Hurts should be given the opportunity to take this job. I don't want them to draft a quarterback at 6. Now, he's saying he thinks the chances are 0, which I'm happy to hear. I don't know that he has inside information, but that he's more than capable of that position. You know the quarterbacks in this draft pretty well. You talk about them all the time. So I'm intrigued to hear how you kind of put Hurts up against these other 3 or 4 guys. Mac Jones is really heat seeker.
He is
He would be the heat
missile,
seeker.
yeah.
If he was on the town square power rankings list of blog posts, he would be a heat seeker.
Yeah.
That's so we have a rankings of like the articles that we write, not only in the building, in the country, of all the stations that our company owns, and they rank us between 1 and like 555. One week I was a heat seeker.
Yeah.
You know, I was flying up the charts.
Yeah, Mac Jones is a heat seeker. Back to your original question.
Since then, I have gone back down the charts. I'm not so much a heat seeker. Apparently, my articles.
Yeah, you're Teddy Bridgewater.
My articles haven't been.
They went to your pro day and
yeah.
they saw you with the gloves on your hands throwing the balls.
Yeah, I went from wherever I was and I dropped back down.
So here's the deal. To me, there's only one quarterback that you can definitively say you take over Hurts, and that's Trevor Lawrence.
Well, okay, that's out of the question, though.
But well, you said of the 5 guys.
No, I said the 4 other guys.
The 4 others?
Mac Jones, Fields, Lawrence, Trey Lance, and Zach Wilson.
I'm with DeCecco. You can make the case for Fields because Fields does have the physical tools. He has the intangibles to be that guy. He has the arm strength. He has the mobility.
But isn't that why I drafted Hurts?
Well, that's what I'm getting to.
Okay, because I thought he has all of these things that you're now telling me you think Fields has.
Fields and Hurts are very similar, except for one specific thing. Justin Fields has shown you that he may not be the strongest guy in the world. He's not physically built yet for the NFL. Whereas Hurts, he's a tank. You mentioned the squats. The dude is a workout fiend. He is somebody who, when he goes to the field, he is built better than probably half the quarterbacks in the NFL already. Physically, Fields is built for the NFL. Justin Fields, the only concern I have with him is I don't know if he's fully built for the NFL yet. I think he needs a year or two to, put on a little size, mature his body, because we saw when he played the higher level teams in college football, he would get hit and he wouldn't just shake it off. You know what I mean? He would be like, ooh, that hurt a little bit. Whereas Hurts, he got smashed a few times in college. He'd bounce right back up and say, let's go another round.
Well, I will say this. The toughness of Hurts, I don't think, should be questioned. We've seen that in college. We saw it at Alabama. We saw it at Oklahoma. We even saw it last year. You heard what Sal Pal said. We're going to get this guy killed. But when Sal said that, I never felt that because he just kept getting back up. So that is not something that I've ever questioned.
But it's something that people, I think, overlook. People don't always value how the guy is built physically, because in the NFL, you're taking grown man hits. I remember years ago when Jamarcus Russell came to the NFL, and everyone's like, well, he's built to take an NFL hit. Well, he's also built to go to the buffet, okay? You know, there's a difference between being built for the NFL and have all the other tangibles. You got to have both, in my opinion. You got to be able to take the hits, and you have to have the leadership qualities.
Well, the tweets that Merrill Reese put out there, I think, are very interesting in the way that he stated. I mean, Merrill Reese works for the team. For him to kind of put it out there that he thinks the Eagles taking the 6 picks are close to 0, it doesn't mean that it's 0. It could be 50%, and he could be saying he believes it's 0. But I think it's the other part. They will develop Hurts and sign a veteran backup. It's like definitive for him. But the whole other part, I love that he put this out there. Arm strength is not a concern for Hurts. He can make all the throws. He mentions his velocity, 54. Justin Herbert, 55. He goes on to say physical, mental, emotional attributes, and Brian Johnson. Look, I say the best case and worst case scenario. I agree with everything McManus said this morning on KJC. Best case scenario is just let Hurts have the job, draft him something to help him out, or draft his defense something to make them better.
And this gets back to what I was saying about his quarterback coach. His quarterback coach, he works out with Deshaun Watson. So he has Watson and Hurts next to each other. And he has said, you don't understand. He told an interview on a recent podcast, he said, this guy, Jalen Hurts, his arm talent is on the same level as Deshaun Watson. All we had to do is fix his mechanics. That tells you something. That's who he's lining up next to. And the guy is saying, I see with my own 2 eyes.
Best case scenario, I agree. Hurts is the quarterback. Worst case scenario, you draft a guy at number 6. You now have Sirianni in a bad spot where this is the guy I wanted. Hurts wasn't the guy I wanted.
Mike, you don't need the drama. Give the kid a chance to play.
That's a great point. You had enough drama last year that I don't need drama again. If I'm going to be bad, let me be bad.
Right.
I don't need to be bad because I got drama causing me to be bad.
Give the kid a chance to play. If he succeeds, great. If he doesn't, you'll be back at 6 next year.
Coming up, Pete Thompson. It's a Tuesday with Thompson. We'll have a little fun with the PT. We'll get into it all. And then Quintin Mikell tonight at 6:40 here on the Sports Bash. He's got a new venture with the Eagles. He'll tell us his thoughts on the franchise moving forward.
It's Sixers basketball tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Simmons, no-look pass to the corner. Seth Curry, 3-ball, up and good. Baseline tray. What a dish by Simmons.
The Sixers host the Utah Jazz tomorrow. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sure thing. We can help you replace those wipers. If yours are squeaking or streaking, it's probably time. We've got a wide selection of wipers that can stand up to any weather, including the right ones for your make and model. We've even got more ways to get them fast, like our next day delivery or free same-day store pickup. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
2 chocolate chip muffins coming in. Thank you.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
Hey, can someone get that?
Like at Claire's Cafe. To satisfy demand for takeout, she needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're struggling with a drug or alcohol addiction, now is the time to take action and get professional help. Call Recovery Centers of America at 1-888-RECOVERY today. You are worthy of recovery from your addiction, and calling RCA will be your first step in getting the help you need. Recovery Centers of America answers the phone and admits patients 24/7. And because safety is a top priority, all patients and staff are routinely tested for COVID-19. RCA's expert team of physicians and medical professionals will treat you with compassion and dignity and provide an evidence-based treatment plan that is custom-tailored to your specific needs. Recovery Centers of America at Devon and Lighthouse are local and in-network with insurance providers, so they're best-in-class inpatient and outpatient care, offered both in-person and via teletherapy, is affordable and accessible. Make this the year you conquer your addiction. Call today, 1-888-RECOVERY. That's 1-888-RECOVERY.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facility safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Switch to T-Mobile for Business and get up to 90 days of service free via virtual rebate on your business plan. You get a great deal, the largest 5G network, and first-class benefits like Microsoft 365 on us. It's better for business and only with T-Mobile for Business. Limited time offer. Stop in-store for details. Plus taxes and fees for some plans. Virtual Express MasterCard within 8 weeks of receipt of valid submission. Complete port within 60 days. See T-Mobile.com for 5G devices, coverage, and plan details.
We know you're spending a lot of time at home, and maybe that home could use a little TLC. Since going to a home show isn't really a thing right now, 97.3 ESPN FM is bringing the home show to you. Local exhibitors have been setting up in a virtual show featuring the latest products and services for your home. Go to 97.3ESPN.com to find great articles on home improvement tips and trends. Thanks to our friends at Broadleys Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Broadleys.net, your trusted source for 3 generations.
Yeah. Businesses that run like clockwork establish routines they trust. That's why over 1 million companies rely on Cintas. We'll help you protect employees and customers with essential safety supplies, inspect your fire protection systems and devices, hygienically launder your uniforms, and keep you well-stocked with the leading hand sanitizers and disinfecting wipes. Learn how Cintas can help you open your doors with confidence.
Oh, I'm ready!
Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Allstate now has deeper savings, and deeper savings require deep thoughts and a deep voice, like mine. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise, and save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. As someone once said, saving today is money tomorrow. That's deep.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
This is South Jersey's radio home for the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers. WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's sports leader.
This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
All right, final hour of the show. It's a Tuesday with Thompson. The PT is in the house as we will have a little fun here. Got a lot to dive into with the PT. Sports Bash brought to you by Matt Black Kia. They want to get you approved today. Matt Black Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township. Pete Thompson, Tuesday with Thompson. And coming up in 40 minutes, Quintin Mikell will join us right here on the Sports Bash Live. Tuesday with Thompson. I had this thought in my mind. I don't know why. I didn't workshop this with anybody, but I figured I would work it on you first. And I said to myself, I don't know why this question popped in my head. I have no idea why. But Pete Thompson, name a store you used to shop at all the time, but now you no longer do.
All right. So my first thought is that I thought of like Blockbuster Video, West Coast Video, Country Video, where we first got our VHS movies from. But that one, that's not. I don't know if that's shopping since you're renting the tapes or you're renting the movies.
No,
does that qualify?
No, because you don't shop there anymore because it's no longer a service that is provided. Like,
okay, all right. So you want one that's still around? I'll give you one.
Like,
You ready?
I would say, like, okay, I don't know why that. Like, I literally was sitting in the break and I thought that question. This is how my mind works. It just random crap pops into my head.
That's correct.
This is an interesting conversation.
Yes.
Name a store you used to shop at all the time. It's like Family Feud.
All right.
All right. Top 8 answers on the board. 100 people surveyed. Name a store you used to shop at all the time, but no longer do. Bing. Like,
I got one. You ready?
Old Navy.
Yeah. Mine is Marshalls. Remember Marshalls?
I what do you mean remember? I'm there all the time.
Yeah, I used to go to Marshalls all the time to try and get like the knockoff stuff or the, off the rack stuff. And the thing I remember the most, Gil, did you know that the PT used to be an avid tennis player? I used to play tennis like it was going out of style.
When?
High school and college.
I was going to say, not since I've known you.
Right, high school and college, and a little bit Nebraska. In fact, I had rackets when I first moved back here, but somebody at TV40 borrowed them and never brought them back. They just stole my rackets. But that's a whole nother story. So yeah, I used to go get Sergio Tacchini. That was the brand, Sergio Tacchini, like these zip-ups, like the Italian knockoff stuff. Because at Marshalls, it was less, and it was always hard to find like the sizes or, maybe they didn't have the, but back then, I mean, the PT wasn't nearly as big. So you could find an XL, no problem. So
is the reason you stopped like Marshalls is still a good store. Like I go there, I'm not all the time, but I mean, it's not a place that I would that place would not qualify for this conversation for me. A store that I used to shop at like the Gap, like when you were in high school, if you had Gap jeans, like you had Gap jeans, wow. Like the Gap, I don't even know if the Gap exists anymore. Like
I'm sure it does. I mean, like that's the thing. So like brick and mortar stores, who goes into a brick and mortar store anymore? Who actually goes into a store?
I do.
Okay, where are they? I mean, like, here's the deal. Like, if you can get everything online, like, and for me, so let's take the PT's pants, right? You haven't seen me in a pair of jeans since like Bill Clinton's first term, right?
Do you feel like you're going to go back to jeans?
I'm considering it. We have jeans days at school, and I always donate the money to whatever the cause is, but I never wear jeans because I just don't wear jeans. Like dress down days or jeans, it's supposed to be like a perk, you get to wear jeans, but I'm always more comfortable in the khakis. And there's a great example. Like for a while, I would get the khakis at Boscov, but then I realized, not everybody's built the same, right? My waist size, my length, like it doesn't quite match up. So it's much easier for me to go to the website and put in my waist and my length and get the pants that way rather than to have to dig through poorly refolded clothes at a Boscov's on a Saturday, as much as I do like to go to Boscov's and shop the aisles.
All right. So a couple text messages have come in here. All right. The question.
I'm seeing one.
No, that's not a question. That's just a statement. But this one came in. Now, this guy is incorrect. Now, the question is, and you could text in 609-403-0973. All right. The question that just popped into my head is name a store you used to shop at all the time, but no longer do. Now, this guy said Rickles and Bradley's, but they don't exist anymore. That's why you don't shop there. They don't exist. Bradley's isn't around anymore. Neither is Rickles.
Right. So it has to be a place that's still around.
Right. Like I said, like Old Navy exists.
Right. Marshalls still exists. At least I found one on the list. I feel honored that I'm actually on the list now.
Right. Marshalls would certainly fit the category. It wouldn't fit for me because I still would go to Marshalls and I still have gone to Marshalls. And like Old Navy, I would say, because when I was younger, I didn't have as big a budget for this. You would go there because they had cheaper clothes.
Yep. I mean, I for a while there, I used to go to Five Below to get my candy, but I'm off sweets now, so I don't need to go get, because there was nowhere else I could find Boston baked beans except for Five Below, and I'd get those little tiny boxes of Boston baked beans and be like, oh yeah, it's just a small box. Of course, I was eating 10 of them, but hey, Boston baked beans.
Well, like this might fit the category because you either have more money, don't have as much money. The person who worked at the store ticked you off. Like there was a store, it doesn't exist anymore, but I refused to go in there because all the workers were always such arrogant, like SOBs like that. I was like, I'm not going in that place. They made you feel unwelcome to go shopping in there.
Can I ask a question? Did you ever have an iPhone in your life?
I have never owned an iPhone.
Okay, good.
So
It's not the Apple geniuses. It's not that store.
No, that store is actually enjoyable to go in there. There's like cool gadgets and stuff, but I do not own an iPhone. No.
Okay.
This was I don't even remember the name of the store. It was in the Hamilton Mall, and it was like it used to be in the Shore Mall, and then it moved to the Hamilton Mall. And it's like right when you come out of Macy's, it was like the store to the right there. They have like sneakers and but they would have like a mix of like sports teams clothes and then like surfing type of clothes. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's another one. I used to go to Sears, but there's no Sears anymore, right? I mean, but these are stores that are called.
That wouldn't fit the criteria.
I know. Listen, do you know the last time I've been in a mall? The last time I've actually been in an actual mall? Well, definitely 2 years, probably more.
Have you been to the outlets?
Yes. Yeah. I'll walk into the outlets occasionally.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but I'll walk in there.
Name a store you used to shop at all the time, but no longer do. Like, all right. I think that the funny thing is this GameStop story that came out about a month ago.
Oh, when the stock was blowing up. Yeah.
Right. But that would be one that, when I was playing video games at some point in my life, but that phase of my life is now over.
Yeah, I don't play video games. I mean, I was bad at Madden when Madden was new, and that was the early 90s. So, to me, but the games that I'm good at are the arcade games. I can play those like nobody's business, but who put
the funny
in a game anymore?
Somebody texted the name of the store and said, I used to work there. So they are essentially saying that they were the pretentious jerk. That I'm never going in that store anymore because the people that work there are just, they're not paying attention to you at all. Like they made you feel like it was a burden for you to have gone in there. So it was
are there still Radio Shacks or did they all go out of business? I used to go to Radio Shack and get stuff.
Yeah, I think the Radio Shacks are out of business.
How about Hickory Farms? Are there still Hickory Farms? I sure like to be a nice beef stick.
Cumberland Farms.
Oh, Hickory Farms.
Where was there a Hickory Farms?
In the malls. Like every mall had a Hickory Farms.
I don't recall that being
really. Maybe that's a Pennsylvania versus Atlanta County thing. Me growing up in PA.
Now, of
course, I just wanted to say the word beef stick and see your reaction.
Now, this guy says he worked in the Shore Mall, and not the Hamilton Mall one. Well, I don't like the one in the Shore Mall. It moved to the Hamilton Mall, and I don't know what it's called now, but the workers were all the same. They were all just like, I don't care about you being in the store. And it didn't matter which one it was at, whether it was at the Hamilton or the Shore. But
can you throw out things like Annie Ann's Pretzels or Orange Julius or any of those?
Annie Ann's Pretzels is still around, but most of those places got overtaken by the Philly pretzel spots.
That's true. Or Orange Julius. Was there ever any Orange Julius?
There was an Orange Julius at the Shore Mall, and then that went out of business, and I don't think that's ever gone anywhere. Now, like
Sbarro, right? Every mall had a Sbarro.
Except for this one.
Yeah, because, they knew nobody would patronize it.
Yeah, there's a Sbarro. Is that even how you pronounce that?
Beats the hell out of me.
Right. They had one of those in the Student Union at West Virginia. And
there you go.
Yeah, but you're right. That the Sbarro pizza place is like one of the staples of most food courts in most malls. But no, there was not a Sbarro pizza joint at the mall around here anyway. I don't know where there is a Sbarro pizza anywhere near here.
Rest stops, the government contracts, 99 years. I'm kidding. I don't know for sure, but more than likely.
Yeah. All right. Well, the PT's with us. I don't know why that question popped in my head. It has.
I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah. Name a store you used to shop at all the time, but no longer do. And for whatever reason, you don't like the people who work there. You make more money. You don't need to go there anymore. You make less money. Harry is watching the show on Facebook. He says Spencer's Gifts is one and Hot Topic is another. Spencer's Gift when you were younger, yeah, we would go in there all the time.
I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was like 7, 8, 9, it was like awesome to see like the, fake can of peanuts that actually, the peanut brittle, it's not peanut brittle, the snake pops out. The black light, what could you write on your wall that your parents wouldn't see, but you had to have the black light on there. And Spencer's had the posters, so the Farrah Fawcett poster, that's where you bought that. That poster that everybody bought, it was sold through Spencer's. So, I mean, there was like, and the craziest thing is, again, my backstory. I grew up outside of Philly, right? So I didn't realize that on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, there's the corporate headquarters of the whole Spencer's. The whole country was all based right out of here.
That's right. Now, one guy texted in. He says, I remember the sports store you are referring to in the Hamilton Mall. They always passed me by to serve the yuppies looking at $150 jerseys that they probably couldn't name 2 players on. That message didn't seem like it came out right, but I get your drift. Another guy texted in and says, I worked at the Shore Mall Hickory Farms.
Ah, yes. I knew there was a Hickory Farms around here. Absolutely.
I am not aware of the Hickory Farms.
The Hickory Farms, not for nothing. It had, it had like cheeses and meats and like little, and it was always a popular gift around the holiday time. Like Hickory Farms was a year-round store, but man, when you got to the holiday time, you had people lining out the door to be able to, make sure that they had their stuff that they were going to give to their relatives. That was because it was basically, Hickory Farms and Spam are in the same category. They never go bad. Yeah. 99 years later, you can crack open a beef stick.
Now, see,
I can't say that without laughing.
Were you here when the Shore Mall was like functionable?
Still going? Yeah, I think 2004 it was still going. And then, keep in mind that, I think what's always crazy is my family used to vacation in Sea Isle. So even like right in college, I was still in college and we went down to Sea Isle for vacation. And my father and I made the drive up to go see Clear and Present Danger, the Tom Clancy movie with Harrison Ford, and we saw it at Town 16, which at that point, I don't even know if they built like the Outback at that point in that parking lot, but
that was new.
Right, but the movie theater was like, clean and new, and they had just added some theaters.
The only movie theater that there was.
Yeah. So it was definitely. I mean, I very much remember that.
I take that back. That movie theater, because I don't know that you were around. I'm pretty sure you weren't. Where Margate had its own movie theater.
Really?
Yeah, Margate had its own movie theater. Ventnor had its own movie theater.
Okay.
And Ocean City, of course, had one up on the boardwalk and up on the boardwalk. But yeah, Margate had a movie theater.
The Ocean City one I always vividly remember because we were vacationing or we were down for like senior week or whatever. My senior year of high school was the year that the original Batman movie came out with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson and all those guys. And I remember that we tried to get tickets. It was like, I don't know, maybe like at noon, we came off the beach and we're like, oh yeah, no, we should go get tickets. And it was like the noon show was sold out. The 2:00 show was sold out. The 4:00 show was sold out. 6, 8, we bought midnight tickets to go see this movie. And by that point, the air conditioner crapped out. So it was like July or August, hot, humid, theater packed, and I didn't care. I thought it was so awesome to see that Batman movie in 1989 as an 18-year-old at midnight. I vividly remember that one on the Ocean City Boardwalk.
Now, this is funny because this gentleman who used to work at the Hickory Farms also worked at Spencer Gifts.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, these are mall staples. Now, Gil, you've never watched Stranger Things, right?
No.
Okay, Stranger Things is set in the 80s. So, we're kind of going back here down 80s memory lane of what was in your mall food court. What were the staple stores that you saw around the mall? You saw a Foot Locker. You saw a Hickory Farms. You saw a Sbarro Pizza. You saw, all these stores that are no longer around anymore. I don't know about you guys or if anybody down here knows this, but we ate at the York Steakhouse. Man, I love that place.
Well, Harry says there is a Hickory Farm stand currently in the Hamilton Mall. Are you familiar with that?
No, but now because I work out near that way in Mays Landing, I'm going to make a special detour to the Hamilton Mall, and I'm going to get a gigantic beef stick, and I'm going to deliver it to you.
That's the third beef stick reference today.
I just love the word. I'm sorry.
Now,
and the concept of a big hunk of meat.
I mean, you're a little too excited over there.
Yeah. Hey, MG, what do you got for me there? Is that a torpedo? No, it's my Hickory Farms beef stick.
Now, Josh has a whole thing of beef sticks here he's showing me. You see that?
That's pathetic. That's like beef stick kindergarten. That doesn't even count.
Now, you don't remember this. I said Margate had the Margate Twin Theater. All right. It was a little too – well, you know where it was?
The Margate Twin Theater? Was it somewhere near no, where was it?
You know where Billy Ho's restaurant is?
No, I don't know Billy, and I don't know his lady.
Oh, jeez. It is well, you know where Robert's place is, right?
Yes. Okay. All right. So yes,
on Ventnor Avenue. On that, it was right there on Ventnor Avenue. They tore that down. They put the Chinese restaurant there. There's a bank on the corner.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I know where the bank is. Sure, because people. Yeah, absolutely. I know where.
You don't know the restaurant, the Billy Ho's?
I've never been in there. Nope, never heard of it.
Been in there either, but I mean, it's been there since they tore down the movie theater.
Yeah.
So the movie theater was there. Now Ventnor has a movie theater. It closed.
Yeah.
And they're bringing it back.
I can't wait. I'm definitely going to go to that. Well, you're going to go see a movie. Now you are notoriously anti-movie.
Well, I haven't been to the movie since 1998.
Yes, I know. People versus Larry Flint. Yes, I remember the answer.
He says the Summers Point also had the Point 4 theaters. Do you remember that?
Yes. Now that was still there when I got to the area, and I think that's a doctor's office now. Like it says you're on your way into, like, if you're going to Ocean City, it's on the right-hand side there, like kind of where the Wawa is now, right? Like there's a big Wawa there.
It's either there. Was that where it was? I was going to say, or it's where that new diner is.
There's a new diner?
It's a doctor's office, though.
The doctor's office. Yeah, the doctor's office. Yeah, I know those doctors. I went to them once.
All right. So good stuff from the people out there today. Somebody mentioned Circuit City.
Circuit City's good. See, if you're going to go down Circuit City, then you're like, anybody remember Silo? Like Silo was the place to get your speakers, and your electronics.
Okay, so Circuit City was at the Shore Mall, and the building is still standing. It's where they do the Halloween store.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
That was the Circuit City. And there was a Radio Shack right inside there. You know where the entrance to Boscov's is? Well, now the place is all torn down. But if you walked out of Boscov's and went across, that was a Clover right there.
Right.
But if you went
Clover,
if you went to the left, that's where the Radio Shack was. And across from that was Beachcomber.
Oh, Beachcomber. Yeah, I remember the Beachcomber people. They're still very nice people. They're in the area somewhere, relocated slightly. Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know where that question came from, but it popped in my head, and I just looked at the clock, and I need to take a break. You're going to hang around?
Yeah, I'm staying around. Let's actually talk some sports.
Hey, I got a couple questions. that I want to ask you about Flyers, Penguins, 3 games in a row here.
Yep.
Got that coming up, and no Sidney Crosby, by the way. He's on the COVID list.
Somebody's missing.
All right, back with that. Couple Eagles thoughts. We're going to hit them all. Quintin Mikell in 20 minutes. Don't go away. Sports Bash live on 97.3 ESPN. It's Tuesday with Thompson.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tonight on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app with Tim Saunders and Steve Coates calling all the play-by-play action.
He scored!
The Flyers are in Pittsburgh to face the Penguins tonight. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey on the radio home of the Flyers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN, and listen live on the free mobile app.
When you support your local small businesses, it helps keep your neighbors employed, helps kids save for college, and strengthens your community. And Town Square Media South Jersey puts local businesses in the spotlight.
Ambient Comfort Heating and Cooling Professionals. AmbientComfortNJ.com.
Filling Marble and Tile Outlet, Philadelphia Avenue and Route 30 in Egg Harbor City. fillingmarble.com.
Dennisville Fence, serving you since 1952. Be the envy of your neighborhood.
Comfort Now by Bob McAllister. Improve the comfort in your home. Call 609-400-1005 and ask about discounts and rebate incentives. Visit iwantcomfortnow.com.
East Coast Roofing, Siding and Windows services all of South Jersey. If you call, they'll show up. Call East Coast today at 609-646-1444. Online at eastcoastroofing.com.
Thank you for supporting your local businesses. From Town Square Media, South Jersey.
Good morning, privates!
Good morning, Drill Sergeant!
I mean, seriously, what a pleasant morning. The sun is shining and the birds are chirping. You seem to be in a good mood today. Astute observation.
He's probably happy because he found out Honey Nut Cheerios can help lower cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy diet.
They're even shaped like hearts. So, in lieu of the obstacle course today, I propose a nice meditative nature walk. Does that sound delightful to everyone?
Yes, Drill Sergeant!
Happy Heart Shapes are back for a limited time. Learn more about Honey Nut Cheerios by picking up a box at your local store.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Let's start with everyone out there who loves flexing in the mirror. Now, narrow it to all those muscle squeezers who hate stretching their wallet. Well, with my Walgreens, members earn an extra 5% in Walgreens cash rewards on Walgreens brand items. So head to Walgreens for great deals, or limp if you're like me and forgot to stretch while getting in the car. Ah, my calves.
Right now, stock up on everything from pain relievers to vitamins with select Walgreens brand health and wellness items. Buy one, get one 50% off. Offer valid through 4/24 with My Walgreens. See Walgreens.com for details.
It's time for some straight talk. Tax returns could look a little different this year. So when the big carriers start trying to get you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk Wireless, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199. Plus, get our unlimited plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense. Tune into Straight Talk Wireless. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Savings may vary. See straighttalk.com.
What's it doing? Designing my new 2021 Nissan Kicks online in the Kicks Color Studio. I give each a special name. This one's electric blue, orange, red, white. I call it the gumball machine. You think it's me?
I feel like you're more of a red velvet guy.
Limitless possibilities. With over 100 million available color combinations and Bose Personal Plus system in the boldly new 2021 Nissan Kicks. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation. Color combinations include interior and exterior colors. Customization is an available feature subject to availability at participating Nissan dealers. See dealer for details.
It's crunchy!
Creamy!
Sweet.
Salty.
Nature Valley sweet and salty peanut bars, bursting with crunchy peanuts, dipped in creamy nut butter coating.
Delicious.
Nature Valley.
You can watch the Sports Bash live now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Search 97.3 ESPN or visit our website, 97.3ESPN.com.
All right, we're back live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and of course, 97.3 ESPN. It's a Tuesday with Thompson, Pete Thompson. Now, of course, we took a break, and people just flooded us with name a store you should shop at all the time, but no longer do. You want me to read some?
Yeah, I love it. I'm enjoying this.
All right. I will pull some up because some of them are funny because, well, one of them that came up is this one from Randy.
Oh, okay.
That's the store that I'm referring to.
Oh, okay. Very good. All right, Randy.
Randy. It was a good store. The people that worked there had poor decor.
See, I've never heard of that store.
Now, Josh agrees with me. He said horrible. I wonder if Randy owned it and he just put that in there because he's like, hey, I once owned this great store. It was a good store. It had nice stuff, but the people that worked there were not worth going in for. So I banned going there.
That's funny.
Now, some people have said that they did say that the .4 is a doctor's office now. It's next to the Windjammer.
Yep, I've been to that doctor's office. I heard that diner you were speaking of used to be the TGI Fridays. We had some dinners at that TGI Fridays.
Correct. The TGI Friday that was in Summers Point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was there. Now somebody else checks in. The Point Theater was right next to the Windjammer restaurant. Thank you for that. I didn't know this. The Point 4 was developed in the late 80s after the bowling alley closed.
There was a bowling alley at Summers Point?
I did not know that.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. Trying to find bowling alleys now is tough. You know?
Got one over here, and that's it. There's one out in Hamilton.
Right.
So there was a bowling alley on the Black Horse Pike on the way into Atlantic City.
Is that right? No, there's one. There was a bowling alley between here and Egg Harbor City. I'm in Galloway, so between Galloway and Egg Harbor City. And the last time I went by, that was closed.
Oh, is it closed because of COVID, or was it closed?
Yeah, good question. I didn't knock on the door and ask.
All right, Pete Thompson, Tuesday with Thompson. If you have a store you used to shop at all the time, but no longer do, text it in. And look, a lot of people are sending us stuff that are closed, like
right.
They went to business. Like I used to go to Herman's all the time.
Yeah, or Gold Medal. I got my Flyers jersey at Gold Medal Sporting Goods. That was a huge store around my area where I was growing up, but they don't exist anymore.
Herman's was in, you know where Herman's was?
No.
So Herman's was near the Shore Mall, across the street where Foreman Mills now is.
Oh, sure. That's the Cardiff Power Center or Cardiff. Yeah.
It wasn't where Foreman Mills is currently, but it was in one of the ones that are like, I think it's totally vacant over there. Now, I couldn't.
There's two things there. There's a gym that's surviving, and there's the Foreman Mills, and then there's like a charter school, and that's it in the entire in that entire shopping center.
So the Herman's was in there. That's where Herman's was, like in one of those ones that run parallel with the Parkway. I don't know what happened to Herman's. Did he become like? Did he get bought out by somebody?
Yeah. What was the one? Maybe he got bought out by Modell's. Remember, Modell's was big.
Modell's is still big. It just never entered this market. Modell's is big in like the Cherry Hill, that area, Deptford, Cherry Hill, like up that way. You have the Modell's still.
Yeah,
I figured you would know that.
I wasn't a big. Again, I basically went from like by the time I got out of college, I think there was still Gold Medal, or there was still maybe Dick's Sporting Goods was just starting to come around at that point. I don't even remember, but like again. Anything you're needing now, you're ordering online. Who goes to the store?
Somebody just texted in. Were you around when TW Sports was here?
Ooh, TW Sports. No, I don't think so.
I think that is now a car dealership or maybe a furniture store. It was like a place where you could go and play like laser tag. They had go-karts. They had batting cages. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I'd be all down with that. I remember places like that, but no, I don't think I've ever been to something like that.
I think they should bring it back because it would probably work in today's world.
There was talk at one point, again, I said I'm out in Galloway. There was talk at one point they were going to put a bowling alley out here, and I thought that would have been awesome. A bowling alley 5 minutes from my house? Heck yeah, where do I sign? I would have been in.
Yeah, now when I was growing up, I worked at the Wall.
Oh, yeah, see, it was the Wall and Sam Goody. Those were your two, right? Which one did you pick?
I worked at the Wall at King of Prussia Mall. I did my internship in Philly at a Philly radio station, and it was unpaid, by the way. That's a big topic going on Twitter right now.
Okay.
Unpaid internship. I worked every day from 10 a.m. to 3, unpaid, and that was what I did my internship. And at night, I went and worked at the Wall at the King of Prussia Mall.
For minimum wage, right? Yeah, the Wall, Sam Goody, B. Dalton was the one bookstore, and then Walden Books was the other. So those were the Coke and Pepsi of bookstores, right? B. Dalton and Walden Books were always in the malls. Although down here, I would think, didn't they have like, what they called Atlantic Books or something? Weren't they those giant bookstores that had like basically the overstock of books,
Now we got a text answering your question, PT. The strike zone in Egg Harbor City, and the gentleman says, I think they are permanently closed.
Ah, yeah. See, they looked permanently closed, but I didn't want to shovel the dirt on top of their grave if they weren't done yet. Yeah. Bring out your dead. I'm not quite dead yet. Bring out your dead.
Couple minutes. Quintin Mikell is going to join us in 9 minutes from now. Flyers tonight, they start 3 straight against the Pens. And you're going to have no Crosby, maybe for all 3 of these games. So what did you see over the weekend from the Flyers that makes you feel like, okay, I can get back into this. Because for a little while there with all the COVID and stuff, it was tough.
Right. I mean, listen, it's going to be an insane stretch for them because they missed those games. But I love the fact that, the guys that came back, Lindbaum that came back, Jake Voracek, those guys played well. Sean Couturier is unbelievable, a healthy Sean Couturier back. And that line, Couturier, JVR, Joel Farabee, I mean, they've exploded since they've come back. So, listen, I don't want to see anybody have COVID or COVID protocols, but it couldn't happen to a nicer guy, said the kid. I mean, that guy absolutely destroys the Flyers. I mean, the numbers that he puts up against him. So if he's not able to go for all three, that's a huge thing. And what I saw over the weekend, to answer your question, is they played well against a bad team, right? Buffalo is an absolute mess. And, to me, that's what you have to do to be able to move from good to elite. Now, I'm not saying they're elite yet, but if you look at Sidney Crosby and the points that he's had, 107 points against the Flyers, 45 goals in 72 games against him. Come on. And you take a guy like that out of the lineup. Thank you very much. You'll take every advantage that you can get. So I think that the Flyers have looked healthy. Here's the thing tonight, Gil, if you're going to watch the game tonight or keep an eye on it, see how TK responds coming back, Travis Konecny coming back, because him coming back means that unfortunately somebody has to sit, and the guy that's sitting is Nick Aube-Kubel. And, his name may be funny, but his game is not. Like, he's a guy that when he's up on his skates, he forces turnovers, forces mistakes, and I saw that in the Buffalo series. So I want to see if TK comes back and is, explodes out of the gun and is yapping and basically, is the old TK guy.
Yeah, no, I'm interested to see and what they end up doing with Nolan Patrick, too.
Yeah, I mean, it could move him back to center. Nolan Patrick blossomed when he didn't have to be in that responsibility. See, the center has a lot different responsibilities than obviously you're the setup, you're the guy that's passing the puck, but the same thing, what your defensive responsibilities are at center. Center matches up against center. The right wing matches up against the D guy. You get a little bit less pressure than when you're not having to play. The center position's tough. You take faceoffs, you take draws. It's like you're involved in every step of the way. So to me, we'll see how it all shakes out tonight. But yeah, any advantage they can get. If Sid the Kid is certainly not going tonight, and if he's not able to go for the next couple of games, boy, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, you get 3 with the Penguins, and then Capitals, Buffalo, Capitals. Very busy month of February here for the Flyers, who are back in action tonight. You can hear the game right here on 97.3 ESPN. The coverage begins at 7 o'clock. And speaking of which, Kevin Durso will join us at 6:20. All right, PT, good to see you, man. Good conversation.
Yes, I enjoyed it very much. I'm going to go out to Radio Shack now and get you some stuff.
All right, and we will do that on Friday, Happy Hour Friday. PT's back. Let me know what you buy at Radio Shack.
Let me find one first.
I think they're out of business, but you can keep looking.
All right, Hickory Farms. I'm going to Hickory Farms. See you.
All right, that's at the Hamilton Mall, by the way. All right, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. Hey, coming up in 5 minutes, we will come back and get back into the Eagles. Quintin Mikell's going to join us. He's got something new going on. We're going to tell you about that. Plus, we'll get his take on the organization that he excelled in, how he sees this team from his vantage point, where they're going, where they are. That's all coming up next here on the Sports Bash as former Eagle Quintin Mikell breaks down the Eagles' offseason needs and the direction of the franchise. He's live on video with us if you're watching at 97.3 ESPN.com next.
It's Sixers basketball tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Simmons, no-look pass to the corner. Seth Curry, 3-ball, up and good. Baseline tray. What a dish by Simmons.
The Sixers host the Utah Jazz tomorrow. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN.
Today just got a little more exciting because you have the chance to win $123 million with Powerball. Talk about a way to really shake things up. So keep it interesting and take your shot because anything can happen in Jersey.
Before you move in and start making a lifetime of memories, there's something you should remember: the value of working with a realtor. A realtor is more than an expert in the field who abides by a code of ethics. A realtor is your neighbor and your ally, someone who puts your agenda ahead of theirs, someone who understands your dreams and has the expertise to make them a reality. Finding the right place starts with you and a realtor and the doors we open together. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Switch to T-Mobile for Business and get up to 90 days of service free via virtual rebate on your business plan. You get a great deal, the largest 5G network, and first-class benefits like Microsoft 365 on us. It's better for business and only with T-Mobile for Business. Limited time offer. Stop in store for details. Plus taxes and fees for some plans. Virtual Express MasterCard within 8 weeks of receipt of valid submission. Complete port within 60 days. See T-Mobile.com for 5G devices, coverage, and plan details.
O'Reilly. Save big during Power Torque Tools DIY Day sale at O'Reilly Auto Parts with great deals on socket sets, impact wrenches, and more. Right now, get $10 off a 200-piece mechanics tool set, plus earn double O-Rewards points. That means you'll get to your next reward even faster. Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts today or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Are you one of the millions of Americans who experience occasional bloating, gas, or abdominal discomfort? Join the Align Healthy Gut Team Up and see how healthy your gut can feel. Align contains a quality probiotic strain developed by gastroenterologists. It adds more good bacteria to your gut to naturally help soothe your occasional digestive upsets with continued daily usage. This is the time to join the Align Healthy Gut Team Up from the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Sign up at AlignProbiotics.com.
What's in store this week at Staples?
A big deal on ink. That's kind of a big deal.
Staples has the technology, furniture, and supplies you need for a totally productive workspace.
And right now, you can earn 25% back in Staples Rewards when you spend $75 on ink or $175 on toner.
Shop in-store or get same-day delivery powered by Instacart.
Ends 3/6/21. Limit 4 in-store and on Instacart only. Visit staplesconnect.com/ink rewards for details. Instacart delivery subject to availability. Additional fees may apply.
What's it doing? Designing my new 2021 Nissan Kicks online in the Kinsler studio. I give each a special name. It's electric blue, orange, red, white. I call it the gumball machine. You think it's me?
I feel like you're more of a red velvet guy.
Limitless possibilities. With over 100 million available color combinations and Bose Personal Plus. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation. Color combinations include interior and exterior colors. Customization is an available feature subject to availability at participating Nissan dealers. See dealer for details.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
All right, Sports Bash Live as we get ready to get you ready for the Flyers tonight. Game night has Kevin Durso at 5:20 tonight right here on 6:20 tonight on 97.3 ESPN. Right now, we're going to go to the Boardwalk Honda hotline. You'll see former Eagle Quintin Mikell on the video side. If you're listening on the radio, well, you're missing out. He's up on the screen. He's got some new stuff going on, and I'll tell you what, this is going to be fun. The Q&A show, powered by Inside the Birds, features former Eagles safety Quintin Mikell and former Eagles wide receiver Jason Avant. I got a funny Jason Avant story, actually, that I can try to share with you, Quintin. But it's good to see you, man. How you been?
Been great, man. Great. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. And your new show, it's going to drop 6 a.m. Wednesday on the Inside the Birds YouTube channel and all their podcast platforms. It debuts tomorrow. So let's start with that. Give the listeners and the viewers a little sample of something that you and Avant kind of kick off on this debut show.
Yeah, well, well, first, obviously, we're going to be talking about the state of the Eagles right now, and a lot of big changes that have happened this offseason. And so that's going to be kind of the first thing we're going to be starting to talk about. And then eventually we'll work our way through, hey, where does the program go in the future? We'll continue to break down different positions, especially secondary and receiver positions, and kind of figure out where we're going to head with that as well. So really excited, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to take a different perspective on it. we're going to try to give everyone an idea of what the game's like through the lens of the skill position players. And that's the receivers and the running backs, linebackers, receivers, defensive backs, safeties, and just kind of give a different perspective on it.
Well, you obviously excelled at safety during your career here, 2003 to 2010. That wasn't a position that was a big problem. How do you see that Eagle? Because I was talking earlier at 4 o'clock in the 4 o'clock hour, looking at the safety, and I said, well, Rodney's got ACL for the second time. Jalen, we don't know, was coming back. After that, I mean, that safety position looks to be one of the biggest problems that they need to fix going into this offseason.
Yeah, there's a bunch of openings right now, and but you know what? With the way I look at it now, it's an opportunity for change. It's an opportunity for someone to step in and make a new new bid for the position, so to speak. So it's an opportunity for maybe Coach Bannon, the new defensive coordinator, maybe his mindset is maybe you'd like to have a bigger safety, like a big John Lynch type safety, or maybe he likes speedy guys. So I'm actually looking forward to see what type of players that he likes and kind of players that he wants to put in that secondary, and see if it's going to be any different, same. Will they be freaks of nature? Will they be very smart players? Will they be aggressive? So it's a whole lot of change and a whole lot of excitement that I'm looking forward to seeing.
Well, that's the big thing. Jim Schwartz has been here, so we kind of knew. Now, somebody asked me yesterday, well, are they going to blitz more? I said, I don't know what to expect from Jonathan Gannon, who was a defensive backs coach. Let me ask you about this. I've had this debate with Jeff Mosher before. Do certain guys have an innate ability? In other words, are certain guys good blitzers and not like – so people would say, why don't you blitz more? And I would say, well, maybe some of the personnel, they don't have good blitz. Like they don't have good instincts to be a good blitzer. Are there good blitzers and not good blitzers?
Oh, absolutely. There's a kind of an art to it. I was fortunate to be in the secondary with some very good blitzers, not just Dawkins. I mean, we had Lito, we had Sheldon, guys that came off the edge and blitzed. And so it's really kind of like an undying art. I mean, it's a dying art, where you've got to have the great timing. You've got to have good leverage. You got to understand, the timing and the right angles. And like you might come on a blitz and you might think it's a pass. It might be a run or a draw. And you have to be able to quickly adjust and come underneath. So I do think that blitzing is something that a lot of people kind of overlook. And it's something that you definitely have to work on. We did it all the time, and it's quite possible why we never blitzed. I think it was more of a scheme thing with Coach Schwartz. I just think that some coaches don't enjoy blitzing. I think some enjoy blitzing, and I think it was a little bit of kind of both of those.
I feel like when he had Malcolm, he trusted Malcolm as a blitzer, but he also trusted Malcolm so much to do other things. He had to pick his spots, and I don't know that he trusted his other personnel to blitz as much.
Yeah, when you lose a guy like Malcolm, it's tough. And, Rodney, I think those two kind of played well off each other. And when you have a player as good as Malcolm, that's not in the secondary anymore. And now you're relying on younger guys. And I still consider Rodney, he's a veteran now, but he's still, compared to Malcolm, he's still a younger player. So I feel like it did weigh a little bit on him, because you have to make sure that you're not putting yourself or the secondary in a bad position by constantly blitzing. So I do think that it was a little bit of a mixture of those things as well.
Former Eagles safety Quintin Mikell, the debut show tomorrow. It's the Q&A show with Quintin Mikell and Jason Avant. It drops at 6 a.m. every Wednesday on the Inside the Birds YouTube channel. Now, what did you think about Mills as a safety last year as opposed to him playing corner?
I've been watching a lot of film lately, and I'd always, when he was a little bit younger, I think that the transition to safety would have served him a lot better when he was a little bit younger. I think watching him play last year, he just looked a little uncomfortable at times. It's something that can develop over a couple seasons. It's not something you can expect a guy to go from corner to playing safety and just be great at it right away. It's a lot different than a lot of people think. You're dealing with different angles. You're dealing with linemen. You're dealing with tight ends. You're dealing with a bunch of different things that you're not used to seeing and reading as a safety. as a corner before. So I do think that given a little, maybe one more year of experience, he's going to have a much better season this year than he did last year. I did see a couple times a little bit out of place, little things, and those are little things that he can work through. And I do hope that they bring him back, and I'd like to see him come back and kind of continue to develop on those little ins and outs of the game.
Now, I'm really interested to get your opinion on this, because I feel like the Eagles' secondary coaching has changed so often. How much of an impact is the secondary coach as to, so many times you'd watch an Eagles game and you'd see the guys not turning their heads. It always seemed like it didn't seem like there was a lot of great technique from, and that could be they just lack talent to some extent, but you're getting a coordinator who has a background in that area. So what impact does the secondary coach have on how a secondary performs?
The secondary coach has a ton of impact. Now, that's not to say he's not out there on the field. You can teach everything that you want, but at the end of the day, the players have to go out there and execute what they're taught. And I think that a lot of times people don't realize, like they say, you kind of rise or fall to the level of your preparation. And so if I am in practice and I'm constantly in positions where I'm playing well, the second that I'm in the position of, like, let's say I got a deep ball on me, right? And I'm so used to making sure that I'm deep. Well, what happens is in the game, if something else happens and I never have tested that ability and I get beat, I might panic, right? And so that's one of the biggest things that people are, and the most difficult things as a defensive back, is when that ball breaks over your head and you hear the crowd go, and it's coming to your guy. That's not a good feeling to feel like. And so that's when you have to practice. Okay, let me relax. Let me keep running with my form. Let me watch his hands. Right when his hands come out, I'll try to get my hands between them. If not, I'm just trying to make a tackle and move on to the next play. And so were these things that they were working on? I would assume they were working on these things, but at the end of the day, the players are the ones out there that have to go out there and execute.
All right, so this is another interesting question that I want to hear from a guy like you. Now, you played with the Eagles from 03 to 10, little different game. The role of the linebacker in the defense when you played, and now what you see the role of the linebacker, because it feels like the Eagles have kind of de-emphasized that position and just said, we'll put whoever we can find there. We like guys who could, like, you might have played linebacker in today's game as opposed to what you did when you played.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's not easy finding good linebackers. We had Nigel Bradham who held it down for quite a while, and I don't think our emphasis has been on the Schwartz with the front four, and the D line that's kind of his most important part of the defense, and it's not easy finding good linebackers, but it's also not easy, when you never try, when you never draft high. So I think we learned that as a defensive team, that you can't lose a guy like Nigel and then try to step up with anybody. You got to have someone that'll step in and help right away. And I just feel like that's another hole that we have. And there's quite a few. So hopefully we can figure out a way to, get a couple more athletic guys in there and guys that are kind of, I don't want to talk bad about the guys we have, but just we got to step it up at that position because it's definitely a need.
Well, right. I mean, you get a guy like Jeremiah Trotter, who's like 260 pounds, playing linebacker. That guy doesn't have a position anymore on defense.
Yeah, Jeremiah
was a tremendous player. That in today's game, where does he fit in?
Right. Well, even when he was on the team, like a lot of times he would play first and second down, and then third down he'd come off the field. Now he hated it. He absolutely hated it, but that was what we had to do, and that's what he had to do what he had to do, and we were more successful because of it. But I tell you what, man, goal line situations, there was nobody you wanted in the middle of that field other than Try. I mean, he was a complete run stopper.
And conversely, it's not like a guy like, for instance, Nate Geary, who was a safety, and you're saying, hey, we're going to play you a linebacker. Well, now I'm on the goal line, and I have a 230-pound guy playing linebacker. It's a tough spot, like that position. But it feels like it's changing a little bit. Like, So I'll ask you, Quintin, at number 6, would you be like, yeah, you need to get a linebacker?
Yes. So the way I'm looking at the number 6 pick, in my opinion, we have to get the best player available, no matter what position that is. When you have so many open holes on a team, and it's offense, defense, special teams, you've got to get the best player available. And, if it's a linebacker, well, you better, if he's the highest on your board at that point, we need him. And then we can build around him. So I'm hoping that we start to, help out with the secondary and the back 7 earlier than we have in the past. But listen, we've tried, Howie's tried to address that position in the past. Sidney Jones, we've had a couple of high picks and it just hasn't panned out. So I don't know what the evaluation is there when we're looking at the defensive back position, but we gotta get a hit there to the back 7 somewhere.
All right. Speaking of a hit, would you advocate then taking a quarterback at that spot?
I stick by what I said. If the best player at that spot is a quarterback, you have to. And that's not a slight to Jalen Hurts. He's a great, tremendous player. But I mean, it's a business, and you got to take the best player available. You can't afford to lose out on a player that at the number 6 pick that is worthy of running your franchise. So
if they didn't take a quarterback, do you feel that you saw enough from Hurts to feel that you'd be comfortable with him entering the season?
I personally, yes, I do. Yeah. And the reason why I feel confident with Jalen is he was cool, calm, and collected. He never rattled. He's athletic. He's fast. He can move. He can throw. And he's young. I mean, he's got so much. He's got a high floor, and everywhere he's been, he's dealt with adversity and he's overcome it. And that's the kind of guy that can take you to the next level when times get rough. That's a guy that can put the team on his back when he has to. And so I absolutely 100% would feel comfortable with Jalen Hurts at quarterback.
All right, more like this with Jason Avant. The Q&A show powered by the Inside the Birds guys features Quintin Mikell. Jason Avant drops tomorrow at 6 a.m. on the Inside the Birds YouTube channel. The first show will examine Wentz, Hurts, the Eagles' moves. They'll have analysis, tape breakdown, draft talk, free agencies, OTAs, mini camps, and more with the guys. Quintin Mikell's been my guest here. Jason Avant. By the way, Jason Avant, so we're at the Super Bowl in Minnesota. It's in the food court there. He was coming on the show. Now, I don't know Jason from Adam. My phone's ringing, and it's Jason Avant, and he says, hey, man, I need you to get me in here. I was like, what? He has no press pass to get in. You had to have a press pass. I have no idea how to do this. So here is this guy who's, played in the NFL and everything. They have no idea. He's asking me for help to get him in. I go down. Yeah, that guy's with me. They're looking at me. I said, yeah. And that's how I met Jason Avant. Never had met him before in my life, but I got him in at the Super Bowl in the food court in Minnesota.
Yeah, big time. I see you.
Quintin, good to see you, man. Good luck with the show. Well, everybody out there, tomorrow, 6 a.m., the Q&A show. Quintin Mikell, thanks, bud.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, that's Quintin Mikell. Appreciate him jumping on board, and he, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. That's how we'll end tonight's show. Great stuff. Quintin Mikell, former Eagle. And, of course, it's the Q&A show powered by Inside the Birds. We'll hopefully have those guys to talk more throughout this offseason. I'm looking forward to checking that out. I'm looking forward to checking out Game Night. It's coming up next. Kevin Durso breaks down the Flyers and the Penguins. Woo, it was a busy show today. We'll do it again tomorrow. See, you never know what you might miss. Quintin Mikell on the video, so you can watch the show live at 973ESPN.com. All right, back tomorrow. Josh has Game Night next. Have a great night, everybody.
Sign up now for this year.